recording? Yeah, we're recording. We're doing a new thing. The Defenders of Kobold have driven out from the far west, east meets west here in Kansas City. We are doing a new Queen of Embers play. And that's what we're doing. We're going to play some games. We're going to try to make this a regular thing, I think. As regular as it possibly can be, of course. Back and forth between either here or over there. So when you see the recording, you'll probably see it sometimes on our channel, sometimes on Defenders. But the cool thing about it is you just have to subscribe to both channels.
Yeah. That's right, you do.
That's right. You have to. So some new faces, at least to our channel, around the table from the Defenders. Chuck's been here before. Joe's been here. Jake's been here. Dana hasn't. Jeremy Jones is joining us too, who's a playtester. But I think I was really waffling on what to run tonight. Like, when I was thinking about, like, when I first invited Chuck on this text messaging that snowed like a motherfucker a week ago, and I'm like, what am I going to run? And I was like, I should run Queen of Embers again because there's things I want to change. There's things that we have done in our main Queen of Embers game. I wanted to work into the story because they've made decisions. It's informing the design of it so far. So I worked those in. And I'm kind of curious what it'll look like with a second play group. Because it'll be a little bit different. Fortunately and unfortunately, Mike and Adam are here, which is great. But they've obviously been through the first 5 acts of Queen of Embers. So that's okay. They're going to feign ignorance and make different decisions.
Yes.
And
I'm
be
totally
good
going to let you guys run off the edge. Like if I see it coming, I'm just going to be like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So before we start, I want to talk about, I think the characters we kind of chose were, for the most part, random. Some people selected some stuff. But everybody created these really intriguing characters we're talking about before we started recording. And I think first what I'd like to do is have you introduce yourself and then just rattle off the sentences for your character. All of them will go around the table, take turns, and then we're going to talk about our characters and about why you're here. Not here at this table, but why you're here in the city of Durendal, which is where the game is going to be. Going to start at an urban area. Sorry, Outrider. That's good.
That's all right.
But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're actually going to create a faction. We're going to create something together that will bind all of you together and then throw you into the story. So we want you to kind of do some story shaping together. Yeah, watch that arm. You'll I've done that several times. But we're going to create a faction, and we're going to put it in the finished product. We're going to put it in Queen of Embers when it's published. So yeah, so we've got our main game right now with Dufresne Agency. And that's going to be in the book, too. And we're putting their characters in the back. But I think we're going to put this in there, too, because we should. So let's do this, starting with Jake on my right. Jake, if you would, just tell us who you are. Tell us about your character.
All right, well, I'm Jake, and I'll be playing a fellow by the name of Erlander. Erlander is a young Aradean male reaver. He's 5'5" and 115 pounds and of a frail build, unfortunately. Erlander has ebony skin with light brown hair and pale green eyes, and otherwise he has no distinguishing marks. He was born in the autumn. He's of the low-born social class, but has a scholastic upbringing. Erlander's dooming is, confusion will kill more than you.
Ooh.
He does have one drawback, however, a sea-born fear, which is one typically shared by all reavers.
Interesting. So he's Aradane. So in the game world of Mahalma, which is the continent, the world, the Aradane are traditionally like a more noble folk. So your character's kind of an interesting twist on that, which is great because I think it'll open up a lot of opportunity for exploring other parts of the Aradane culture that we haven't done in our main game, which is good. So that's good.
Yeah.
And he's a reaver.
Yes. He was.
So,
yeah.
So
whipping out the glow sticks.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, tell us about your character.
I'm Jeremy Jones, and I'm going to be playing Pisspot Randy. He's a middle-aged Grolstetter male who is a footpad. He is 6'1", 247 pounds, and of a husky build. Randy has dark tan skin with dark brown hair and pale green eyes. Randy has 2 distinguishing features, his steely gaze and leathery countenance. He's of an Oh, sorry. I'm reading things because I wrote them down in the wrong place. I'm not very literate. He was born in winter and is of the low-born social class. He's of an industrious upbringing. Randy's doing is, from the cold, something eyes you hungrily. Fuck. He has one drawback. He's a ne'er-do-well.
What's ne'er-do-well do?
I can't assist others, but you can feel free to assist me. That is just fine.
So do people call him Piss Pot? Or is it like a nickname?
I think maybe not so much to his face, but it is known.
So it is known.
Which
It is very
Randy?
known.
Piss Pot Randy. Oh, that Randy.
Oh, fucking Piss Pot Randy. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. That's good. So people would probably around the table probably call you Randy.
Right.
And then
To your
Piss
face.
Pot to your
If somebody
back.
actually calls him Piss Pot, either A, they know him really well, or B, they're looking to get stabbed. And sometimes the two can mix a little bit.
Maybe they're gonna know him real well real soon.
Love.
That's right. He does get very intimate with his fists.
Good.
Like,
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
he's an equal opportunist.
I have a dexterity. Okay. Chuck, tell us about your character.
All right. Murdoch, the Red Bastard Malloy, is a middle-aged Aridane male highwayman. He's 5'10", 229 pounds, of a husky build. Murdoch has fair skin with red hair and gray eyes. Murdoch has two distinguishing marks: a bow-legged walk and mismatched eye color. He was born in winter and is of the low-born social class of a militant upbringing. Murdoch's dooming is blood will be upon your hands, and he has one drawback: ne'er-do-well.
Oh, so you can't assist people.
Either, yeah.
These two, they're gonna say, fuck y'all. That's
People sitting around taking bets. Who's going down first, Murdoch or Randy?
Yeah.
So, Adam, tell us about your character.
Hello, my name is Adam Rose. I am playing Ellen Crowley. She's a middle-aged Everdane female apostle. She is 5'4", of a slender build. Ellen has fair skin with black hair and blue eyes. Ellen has two distinguishing marks: curly locks and sunken eyes. She was born in winter and is of the burgher social class, and of an industrious upbringing. Ellen's dooming is the depths are crushing, the shallows inviting, and she has two drawbacks: a bad ticker and a drawback of non-violence.
Oh. Tell us about that drawback of non-violence as an apostle.
She is only able to use brawling and crushing weapons.
What if she does use brawling and crushing weapons?
Well, that's what she's allowed to use.
Oh, what if she uses something else?
She can't use any of her professional trait or her talents from this profession. So, suppose she could pick them up, but then she wouldn't be as useful with it.
Okay. Joe, tell us about your character.
I'm Joe. I'm playing Bill Rash the Lamb. He is an adult Rovanian male pugilist. He is 5'10", 229 pounds, of a husky build. Lamb has light brown skin with blue-black hair that he keeps completely shaved short. Light brown eye color, and one distinguishing mark: the pigeon-toed stance, which I believe is like when your feet are in a little bit. Yeah. He was born in the spring, as of the burgher social class, and a reverent upbringing. Lamb's dooming is climb not the mighty oak, and he has one drawback: the melancholic temperament.
What's melancholic temperament do?
I have to take 2 smelling salts to get the benefit of life.
Oof.
Yes.
Do they like have smelling salts around the table?
No.
I know.
Our brother Daniel, tell us
Yeah.
about your character.
I'm Daniel. Playing Quentin Dre, the adult Aridane male outrider. He's 5'11", 235 pounds, husky build. He has pale skin, medium brown hair, and ice blue eyes. distinguishing mark of a big hairy mole in a place that I won't show you. Was born in the spring, is Burger, and militant upbringing. He has the dooming of the jackdaw as a false omen and has a nemesis.
Ooh. So Nemesi, if you will, we haven't had a nemesis in a while, I think, in our game.
Technically, Harper should have one.
Really?
Because he's a Pistolier. Pistolier gets...
Well,
you were like,
guaranteed a
you've always
nemesis.
just been like, we'll get to it later. And
That's
then
true.
we always forget.
So let's talk. Okay, so we'll talk about your nemesis soon. But it's intriguing. This will be a way to work in some fun story stuff. And what happens when you have a nemesis?
I can't basically spend any fate or fortune points against them, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So if they come at me to kill me, it could be bad. They're good at it. They might be. Hope not.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Mike, where's my nickname, Boss Boy?
Yeah. All right. So I am playing Geralt with a J of Jivia, or my friends call me Jerry. I am a elderly Rovanian male hexer. I am 6'1", 193 pounds of a normal build. Jerry has a pale complexion with white hair and icy blue eyes. Jerry has 3 distinguishing marks. He has a strong jaw, a steely gaze, and a Liechtenstein Arbor scar, however you say that. He was born in autumn, of low-born birth, military upbringing. Let's see here. His doing is do not be fooled by appearances, and he has 2 drawbacks. 1, deal with the devil, which causes him to have a permanent chaos rank. And thanks to his professional trait, or professional drawback, really, he is also a eunuch.
I'm curious what the quote on elderly is for.
Well, it's from the idea that I was thinking that, like, a lot of... well, since it's modeled after a certain character, the Hexers, are that they might be older because they can live longer. So,
Nice.
like, he's old, but he doesn't look old.
Nice.
Like, he's been around for, like, probably, like, 70 years.
So like Keanu Reeves or something.
Right, exactly. So he's like Keanu Reeves. So he's actually old, but doesn't look old at all. Like, you can tell, you would think he's in the prime of his life still.
Who's he's Steve Martin. The guy never ages.
yeah.
Like,
That's another
you've had gray hair since you were 20. Like,
Yeah.
And he's looked pretty much the same since.
yeah, for real.
Because they're vampires and they... Yeah.
That's right. So this is a little different. So when Mike was like, hey, I want to play a hexer. Hexers are normally expert professions.
Right.
But we've never had one in the game, and we really wanted to play one because it seems relevant to the fact that there's a very popular television show on Netflix that's currently streaming that you may know about. It's a dark fantasy game that I can't mention.
Yeah.
But the Hexer
Never
is
heard
its
of it.
Polish name, and we wanted an opportunity to play that, and I thought it'd be kind of fun. And then he's Jerry.
Yeah, I'm Jerry,
The Itcher.
the Itcher. Yeah.
Hello, Jerry.
You gotta help me.
Hello, Jerry. So we have Jerry, Quentin, Bill Rash, all your characters, Joe. Ellen, Murdoch, Randy, don't call him Piss Pot, and Erlander. So let's talk a little bit about first the game world. This is going to be new for some people, and I'll keep it at a very high level. So, as you know, it's a humanocentric world. There are no elves, no dwarves, no halflings, no gnomes, none of that exists. 2, magic is not real. Like, people are very, very superstitious. And the reason they're so superstitious is because the church, which is called Church of the Covenant, is a dominant feature in all of the stories that are told about this game world. It is a country that you are from that's been riven by warfare, both with itself during an intense civil war about 10 years ago. 30 years back, a border war with a southern group from a continent called Gothmoran. But things changed about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the world is encircled by a near moon and a far moon. And the far moon, which is called the blood moon, just disintegrated. And parts of it fell to the world. This was an event called the Cataclysm. And this changed things in many different ways, which you will find out about in the story. But most importantly, what you should know is that this has thrown the mindset of the Eridane and Rovanian in this great country of Aglador toward a dark age. There's the people believe it's the end days. The church has become even more influential, despite the fact that its leader, the Holy Father, was killed by a giant meteorite. He and the capital city of Aglador was decimated, almost to the man.
Well, decimated means 10%.
Yes.
So devastated.
No. It means 90% left 10%. So if you remember, so in the game world, there are people who actually left the capital. They managed to escape.
Okay.
They somehow survived, and they have come eastward. So the other important thing that you should know, because this game is taking place in the Rovane Girdle, it is actually technically outside of Aglador. And those who are Rovanian and those who are Eridane, the civil war that happened some time back, like those seeds still exist. The Eridane believe that they are chosen by the Covenant because they can trace their bloodlines back, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. The Rovanians are just trying to survive. The Rovanians are a far more industrious people, and they're less kind of rigid than the Eridane are. But every character, obviously, every person is unique in their own different way. But some of those things just haven't kind of left the mindset of the Rovanians or Eridane. And what is currently happening is that at the end of this recent war, after the strike, Aglador has been involved in embroiled in wars for generations with themselves, with outsiders, with northerners, with southerners. They're kind of like the United States of America. They have kind of eked out this really important place in history. The world worships their gods. They brought horses and steel to this world some hundreds of years back. They're the most influential of all cultures in the game world. It's where a lot of our games take place, within Aglador or within the surrounding area. So to be Eridane is to be able to herald back to a time that your predecessors literally brought culture and liturgy and other things to the world as you know it now. So it's something to be very proud of if you're Eridane. Eridane are oftentimes tall, have hawkish-looking features, whereas the Rovanians are a little different. The Rovanians also came along with the Eridane some number of years ago, but they were kind of the left behinds. They were the scullery maids, the camp followers, the people who were basically hauling all the shit for the Eridane when they first came to this world. So they're kind of like a lower class, and the Eridane view them as such, and the Rovanians are okay with that, because the Rovanians could really give two shits about the Eridane. They have kind of eked out their own existence, and they're a very pragmatic people, a very practical people. Even though they worship the Covenant gods, they kind of live their own existence, and they've been kind of vying against the Eridane in many different ways, both politically, by the pen, and by the sword for the past 20, 30 years, culminating in about 10 years ago, an important war called the Strife. And like I said, those seeds still remain, but the Rovanians have been trying to find a way to become their own people, have their own country, to separate themselves from Aglador. And there's been one major attempt, and that failed terribly. There was a man named Ethan Horn. He was bastard born. He crowned himself king. He was called the Bastard King. And that didn't last very long, because he was beheaded at the end of his reign by the king of Aglador, Cassander Malister. And those things we will talk about in the game. They'll come into play to some degrees. But the things that you really need to know is that everyone acknowledges the gods are real. This is not a D&D world where it's like, I believe in gods, I don't. The gods are real. They're as real as we would believe, because we know that if it was not for the gods, our son Algo would come crashing into the world, just like the Blood Moon did. It is literally the end times. It is the days of the last cataclysm, the day of the end, the days that are marching toward the end of the world. And some people are leaning into that, perhaps, in Adam's character's case, maybe. Others, perhaps not, trying to make the best of what there is. Some are kind of living like what happens when people have ascended to what is called the Well of Souls. What happens to those who are left over? What happens to those souls who have been abandoned by the gods? There's a lot of different kind of views on what that really means. But religion and culture plays a very distinct role in everything that happens in the game world. It's important to your characters. It's just as important to your game mechanics and who you are and what your order and chaos ranks are, and probably had some impact on on your dooming. There's a reason why every character has a dooming and when they're given a holy symbol, because faith is important. Faith is important, culture is important. But for you all, your aims are probably a little bit more selfish because you all come from a very different set of backgrounds, but somehow you all found yourselves together. So let's talk about what that is, because I want to do a little bit of world building with everybody at the table to really say, to be able to cement, here's who we are, here's why we're together, here's what we know about one another, and we could kind of put you in the game world and start the story. So maybe the first thing I should ask, and this is a tough question to answer, is like if you were to look across the table, like at just looking across the table to people you know, people you played with, who would you nominate to be the leader of this cadre?
That's a tough one.
You always need, at the end of the day, you don't necessarily making all the decisions, but somebody must make a decision when there is conflict. So who here, looking among one another, who would you elect, or would you elect yourself? Would you like to be the leader of this crew? I recommend it's not Adam, because he's the leader of the other crew.
Thank you.
It'd be great if it was one of the defenders.
Wouldn't be me.
All right, so yeah, we got a.
Except that's a bad
I'll elect
decision.
myself.
Right
That's
here.
Except
Yeah.
we'll burn everything down if we elect Chuck.
I'm going to say, I'm a legitimately intelligent fellow. I would normally nominate myself, but out of the goodness of my heart, I would second my fellow ne'er-do-well.
Yeah.
So
On the other hand, I nominate myself.
So here's the question. Yeah, so
We all nominate ourselves.
I love this dynamic. So is this like a Megatron Starscream relationship?
Yeah.
Where like Erlander is like maybe not hourly, but at times is trying to like connive his way into the leadership, or is it the other way? Is it that Murdoch is trying to connive his way into leadership, and in fact Erlander is leader?
I don't know.
I don't-
Murdoch is pretty. He's got an ego to him.
Oh, I wouldn't want to offend your ego. By all means, take the reins.
So wait, Erlander.
I don't know that I want a self-proclaimed bastard to
what,
be your
what
leader.
upbringing? What profession? What social class?
Yeah.
Upbringing, militant,
Mhm.
social class, lowborn, profession, highwayman.
Okay. What's your
Turn us into
in-world
a gang.
ancestry?
Erdain.
Okay.
What about yourself, Erlander?
Well, as far as ancestry, I don't know if Eridane, because I was looking at it more from a cultural perspective rather than from an ancestral one. So I don't know if Eridane would.
So maybe he's Rovanian instead.
Yeah.
Oh, she would go for him.
I back the Ravanian.
So does it come down to cultural lines? Is the question?
Are we having a little bit of strife right now?
This is good.
course.
This is how we
I
build.
guess
This is
you-
how
I
we
guess you
build
could be having a little
story.
bit of a strife right now.
Yeah.
As a Ravanian, I back my Ravanian.
If it was decided.
Well, here's the way I look at it. When you live in a world where any bad day could be your last, you treat each day like the best. And I feel like I'm a pretty girl at a dance, right? And I've got this rugged Ravanian over here, and I've got this prissy Eridane over here. And I want both of you to like give me your best smooches of what you got, right? who's gonna take me out?
I can give you.
I'll
The
ship
best booze, loot, and goods that I can steal.
That's really good shit. I
Could
like
be your
that.
own stuff.
So wait, you're telling me right now that you would just openly steal from any of these people?
Not the
Who are
people that I have to share a tent with.
Okay,
That's how
but
you get stabbed.
right, exactly. But from everybody else, they're fair game.
Yeah.
Ellen disapproves.
She'll remember that.
If
You
they
have just
needed
lost
it,
5 favor.
if they needed it that bad, they would have done a better job of hiding it from me.
You know what? I like your moxie. You should be the leader. You should be the very vocal, upfront, thieving leader.
And Erlander will be the puppeteer. So Murdoch is going to be the leader,
Yeah. I'm good with the quotes too.
and then Erlander will be the LE. The
It's like, yes, that's what I
LEAD.
said. Put those quotes up there.
I love it. I love it. This is good. So, next question. So we have kind of this leadership thing. So as leaders or
Yeah.
leader,
Yeah.
you clearly have handpicked these people. You You two probably know. You two are probably the closest. Would be my guess. You guys go way back. You're like Al Swearingen and fucking Dan and Deadwood. Like you guys like were chopping wood in the forest. Like that's how far you two go back. And these others are maybe they're new, maybe they've been around for a while, but the two of you are kind of the core. You're the trunk of the tree. So the question is, would you say, are you more akin to do things that are upright? You're clearly both criminals, but are you like vicious criminals,
No.
or are you we do things kind of in the gray area?
Robin Hood criminals? Or...
Yeah, definitely in the gray area. I'm not legitimate businessmen finding alternative revenues of income.
So Erlander, do you follow that line of thinking, or are you the opposite?
I tend to treat myself as though I'm a very dignified sort of person. I would never raise my voice at anybody. I would never speak ill will towards anyone. If anyone insults my honor, I'm willing to challenge them to a fair gentleman's duel and lead them out of whatever building we might be in so that, nobody's children has to see what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So when I put an axe in the back of their head.
I just
so of the two of you, who's the most vicious? Is that true, Erlander?
Let's hope no one finds out.
So
Okay.
I'm thinking Erlander is the most vicious.
Okay. So
witnesses.
the four of you are new-ish to this group. So my question for you is, knowing the two leaders, who would you most closely align yourself with?
Gosh.
Romanian. Sorry.
I'm up for that is the right choice.
Yes.
Whoever's doing more thinking, so I don't have to.
I'm Aridane, so I'll probably stick with my other,
There you go.
sweetie companion.
So what about Ellen?
Are either of you like more religious than just what you have to be?
I am non-traditionally more spiritual. Right? I'm not so much about the words of the book, but if I'm in a pinch, I'll ramble off a prayer. And
Okay, well, here's another thing I was thinking. With the way this group makeup is turning out to be, it would probably be easier for her to accept them and find acceptance if she actually wasn't an apostle of one of the three.
Perfect. So let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
right now we're
just-
determining
yeah.
group determining where is your loyalty lie?
Yeah. So
Is it Murdoch or Erlander?
well, and then Erlander, I would ask you the same question. Like, are you?
I go to church every Sunday.
And then, like, is that like? do you profess yourself to like be religious, or is it like your obligation?
I go to church every Sunday. Is that not enough?
Okay. Yeah, it's a hard call for her to make. That,
So you can be in the middle if you want.
Yeah, she'll be in the middle.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So finally, Randy,
Yeah.
who do you align yourself with the
He's
closest?
arrogant, but he's religious.
Me, myself, and I, and these people are great.
I'm as religious as much as he's the leader.
Who do you lean more toward? Is it Erlander or is it Murdoch?
Yeah, Erlander, he talks very fancy, and I do like that. But there's just something funny about the sort of bloke who makes sure to always look out for himself and fuck others over.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect that in a weird way. So, we're both of a similar dickish mind.
there you go.
Even though you're Dane, that does mark heavily against you.
Okay. Those who follow Murdoch, raise your hand. Those who follow Murdoch get 5 chaos ranks.
Oh,
Chaos!
Those who follow Erlander get 5 order ranks.
Oh.
Those who are indecisive
Yeah.
get 2 order, 2 chaos.
Sweet.
do I count as following myself?
Yes. So obviously,
I'm going to
Murdoch,
count
you
as
get-
following him.
It's okay. Because the thing is, these are legitimate chaos ranks, and they're good for you.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
bring out your potential.
Absolutely.
So what would you
Let me get the
say,
tape.
like, what is the thing that is most important? And this is an above board question for everybody. You know, this is in obviously for your characters. What is the most what motivates you? Like, what's your prime motivation for why you're together? Is it to live a life of crime? Is it to make your way in this world? Are you on the run? Are you a military style unit, even though you're kind of from different belongings, backgrounds, and cultures? Are you just kind of happen to find one another and kind of stuck together because there's nobody else? What's that thing what's your motivation as a group?
I was thinking of more like a military dropout. Like military is too much. I just want something
Yeah.
smaller.
I would say the point is to, you know, the end times are here. If you got to make some money, you might as well make some money with a good crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Party like it's 1999.
Party
So,
like
so
Like a
We're
bone
opportunists.
vivant sort of
definitely
thing.
Opportunists?
Say
Yeah.
opportunists, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think my motivation for even having a group to be around would basically be to allow me to advance through society in a legitimate sort of fashion.
Ish.
We're legitimate business.
Legitimate.
Yes.
Well, Erlander's parents were Vikings. He was born sickly and weak, and they, in their kindness, did not throw him onto some rocks to die. So they took him to civilization so that they could say to their son, Erlander, which means foreigner, as in he is no longer a part of his Viking tribe. You know, we want you to actually have a chance to be successful and live and do what people usually get a chance to do. And then they died. Probably from some sort of civil war that happened a while back. So Erlander is now grown up realizing that this civilization thing, yeah, I mean, Vikings will go up and down rivers and whatnot with dragon-headed boats pillaging whatever the hell they like, but replace that dragon with a country's flag and you have a navy.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to change your ancestry,
I know.
your culture at this point. What do you think, Mike?
I agree. I think I know what you're gonna do.
What
I
do you
agree.
think you should be?
A folk?
Yeah.
Folk would be awesome.
So the folk
Or-
are kind of so they're FFOLK. They're very similar to kind of what you described. They are kind of these raiders of a sort, river raiders in a sense. They're sometimes called Midlanders, but folk is what they call themselves in like my folk, my tribe, my clan. They call each other colloquially the folk. So that will who you'll be.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's
good.
awesome.
Yes. Like you just mentioned that, I'm like, huh, he sounds like a folk.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the Torque Lords.
Yeah, the Torque Lords and those guys. Those
Mhm.
guys are
Yeah.
I love those
The
guys.
martial lords, the torque lords. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Yep. So that brings us to no group, no party can simply march around without any sort of banner or name to be known by. And granted, you were still in the infancy of your opportunistic career, but what would you call yourselves?
Murdoch's Marauders.
Danger strangers.
Well, you heard the man.
Yeah. Yeah. I can argue with the leader.
Danger strangers. Does that mean that we are a danger to strangers, or that strangers are?
Could
Yeah,
be,
is that-
could be both. Could be both. I do have a nemesis.
Is it a warning to us, like danger, strangers? Like,
Olin's all
Yes.
very dangerous.
oh yeah. I don't trust any strangers, myself.
So you're the danger strangers?
we can talk about this. We can talk about this.
That's
Well, I mean, there's always
Asking for trouble.
magnificent bastards, but what if we were legitimate bastards?
We're the legitimate
The
bastards.
legitimate bastards.
I don't know.
That's
There's
a
already a war bastards.
That's a perfect conundrum, though. The
Uh,
legitimate bastards.
Yeah.
Right?
no, that's okay though. Even though there's
Like,
already a war bastards, it's
We've
fine.
all
Like,
come from whatever shit that we're from, but we've made ourselves
Yeah.
legitimate.
It's a legitimate operation now.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Actually pretty
If-
fun. I like the contradiction.
Like, what's our last names?
Malloy.
Like,
don't know.
if we want to keep chasing this route, maybe we change our last names a little bit. Like I would change mine from Crowley to Crow. You know, because I would be bastard born as well. Even though I'm a woman, I'd still be like bastard born. We could chase that route a little bit.
Not to be, I mean, to be a bastard. I mean, you could legitimately be a bastard, or you could just be you're a fucking bastard because you're an asshole, right? Because you're an underhanded opportunist, not underhanded, but an opportunist.
Yeah.
But you're only being opportunistic. But if you're underhanded about it, it's a different story.
We could be the Crimson Martyrs. I'm just kidding. That's something from our league.
Yeah, I mean, legitimate instead of inglorious.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Legitimate bastards.
So the legitimate bastards is your character, your group name. You guys all on board with that?
It's kind of fun.
I'm really excited about that.
That's.
I mean, this is your guys' game. I'm just along for the ride.
I'm just saying, the legitimate bastards is pretty fucking brandable. So,
Yeah, that's it. We're the legitimate
So are we
bastards.
doing it like the Inglorious Bastards, where it's TERDS?
I mean,
The Bass Turds?
It's fish poop.
that's not how you spell it.
how to spell it in Romania? How to spell it down in Romania?
I just look to make sure the shapes look vaguely correct.
We can just say we're not that good at, letters.
I assure you, it is not correct.
But does that mean it's wrong?
Ellen Crowley will
Ellen is
correct
in
the
charge of
spelling.
painting the sign.
So,
Right.
what is it? So let's say, so the legitimate bastards have to make their mark. Like, what is your mark? What is the shared tattoo you have?
Man. That's gonna be a tough one.
It's going to be oh no, that wouldn't.
A dollar sign.
That's what I was thinking, doing L and a B with the dollar sign over the L, but that wouldn't
It could
work.
be letters. It could be a figure. It could be a shape.
Wow. Does the country have like a specific currency? Do they have like marked currency or something like
They
that?
do, in fact. Yes, it's all marked with the king's face. The dynasty, at least. The old dynasty.
I don't know if we want the king's face associated
We
with
could do
us in that regard.
a
A
defaced
defamation of it.
version
Yeah.
of the King's
An
face.
upside down crown?
Maybe,
I kind of like that.
and so if it's
That's
got
a
the
good
king's
idea.
face on it, how about a coin with the king's face on it, but with like a blindfold across the coin in his eyes?
It's okay too.
I like the upside down crown.
Something that you could potentially mark on buildings.
Yeah, the upside down crown is
Right.
something people can
That's
easily just.
Right.
easy.
It's
That's
gotta be
simple
easy to
enough.
do.
Yeah.
I like the upside
Would that
down
be
crown.
seen as
It's-
anarchy though? Like as being
You're fucking
against the
tagging. You
king?
tag your.
Yeah, like, but would that be seen as what's it called?
Evil?
No,
Treason?
yeah, treason. Would that be seen as treason?
I wouldn't think so.
What do we
I
do? We
mean,
compromise and put it as a sideways crown.
Hey, actually, yeah, why not?
We wear the crown like this.
Put it
Yeah,
sideways.
Exactly.
We'll tilt
Is it a
on
crown
side.
that's tilted? Like a tilted crown?
Yeah, tilted.
Tilted
We'll have L
crown.
in one
Tilted
corner and
crown,
B in the
okay.
other.
Yeah,
Tilted
that's
back.
awesome.
Melige.
I love it. The tilted
Okay.
crown. It's like somebody who wear. It's like you think of like the mercenaries who wear like because they're given like they can go outside of the Austin. What's it called? The law that like keeps you where you have to wear the clothing of your
Yeah.
social class. They can wear like multiple color for clothing because they're gonna die anyway.
I'm having such a huge brain fart. I'm also imagining
Austerity laws.
the artist. He wears a big old clock.
The
Mm,
Flavor
Oh.
Flav?
Flavor, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
He used to
So
wear a
the
lot of
tilted
stuff.
crown
yeah,
is the legitimate bastards like their symbols of tilted crown.
Yeah.
So
That feels
that's
real
great.
good.
So we've got Jerry or Gerald, Jerry, Clinton, Bill
Jerry.
Rash, Ellen, Murdoch,
Olivia.
Randy, and Erlander, all members of the legitimate bastards, and their tattoo, wherever you choose to put it, is the tilted crown, and that's who you'll be known as. You'll probably call yourselves the legitimate bastards, and perhaps what they really call you is the tilted crown. Like, 'cause there's always two sides of the story, like Piss Pot Randy, like.
Yeah.
Maybe my friend will let you call me Piss Pot, and the people who don't know me also call me Piss Pot, and I fucking don't like that. Like, it's kind of like it's
What you
kinda
call
like,
yourselves and what people call you.
That's right, exactly. But we know that there's strength in that. There's strength in symbolism and using that to your advantage. So we're going to throw you into the very beginning of a game set in Durendal upon a very important auspicious night called Penumbra. And we will continue recording here in just a few moments to grab pizza.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to start Queen of Embers. We're going to start officially now that we've kind of decided who you are, what your background is, who's the leader and who's the leader, who your loyalties lie to, as well as a few other kind of smaller minor things. So our story is going to begin in a city called Durendal. Durendal is the capital city, if you will, of the Rovane Girdle. It's where a lot of things that happen here at the Girdle take place. It's a mining town of sort. It's also, most importantly, the place where all gunpowder in Aglador is sourced from, which has meant its Baroness has enjoyed quite a bit of fulcrum against the king in the west in Aglador. But that's not important. What matters is that it's nighttime in Durendal. You're in the middle of the city center, a place called Messiah Square. Not only is it nighttime, it is an auspicious time, for tonight is the night of Penumbra. Penumbra is when a constellation has shifted in the sky. Specifically, the Night Father's eye is visible. Penumbra was also the night 3 years ago that the blood moon had sundered in the sky. And now, surrounding, kind of peppering the nighttime sky, you can see the twinkling of red stones amid the field of stars. It was like surrounding a belt, kind of like Saturn, as you could say. The moon, which is called the Mirror, is in the opposite sky. And Penumbra is not only just auspicious because of what because it is when the constellation comes out, but also because of the terrible events that happened 3 years ago. So naturally, this kind of makes everyone uneasy. It's kind of like, it's the anniversary of the beginning of the end. So where you're at here in Messiah Square, there's not a merchant stall or a single person trafficking the square at all. Instead, the square is full of these armed thief takers, which are called brigandine. It's a military unit that have been empowered by the Baroness to patrol the city, the first police force. There are several lamplighters and these rough-looking apostles from Church of the Covenant. They're kind of gathering in this square at night. It's late autumn. It's almost winter, so it's nice and chilly out. you came here because your contact, a man named Amadeus, is your He is your contact. You have a job. He has contracted you, and you have come here to Durendal to make a name for yourself. You're all from outside the city. You're not from here at all. You're scattered across the four winds, but Durendal, here's where you can make your mark. You can get behind it. This place is kind of an oyster ready to be taken, so to speak. So you come into Messiah Square, and here you are. You can hear the growling of muzzled dogs, a few soldiers coughing or standing around, lamplighters holding lamps, or lanterns I should say, about, and the apostles walking amid the crowd of soldiers. And then there's you, outsiders. No citizens, no children, no husbands or wives, no shopkeepers, no merchants, no traffic, save for everyone gathered. And everyone, there's like kind of this palpable nervousness among everyone. Like, it has literally been 3 years since this terrible event happened, and you probably don't feel comfortable either. But you're alive. The sun didn't come crashing down today, nor did another star. So you're alive, and that's enough. And here you are. And that's where we begin our story.
Is there any sort of like curfew or anything like that people don't want to be out or can't be out?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. In fact, there is a curfew in Durendal. And the only ones who can actually be out past the stroke of midnight, the witching hour as they call it, are lamplighters, the people who illuminate the main thoroughfare through the city. They enjoy a special status. And one thing to note about Durendal is that the main thoroughfare from one end of the city, from Fisher's Gate to Westgate, is illuminated with gas lamps. They are not lit yet.
Well, here we are, gentlemen. I suppose where would you want to start?
Well, we probably want to avoid being seen as much as we can, it sounds like.
False. Right. We want to get something to drink. Right.
Well, that's probably one thing. Probably not on the streets.
We should get seen at a tavern.
You are a fine leader.
I wouldn't mind getting seen by this Amadeus character we're supposed to meet with.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, do we know where we can find him?
You simply knew that you were to meet him in Messiah Square at the stroke of 7. You heard the bells, dern 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 dern, dern 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 dern, in the city. Four bell towers sound like that, the metallic song. And at every single stroke of the hour, they ring their bells in concert, an appropriate number of times together, equal to the hour. So they have rang 7 times consecutively together.
So it means we should bring in that square.
Yeah. How far are we from the square? Are we in it?
You're
We're
in
in
it.
it.
All right.
Do we look for someone who's clearly not an apostle, a guard, or a lamplighter?
Let's hang back along the buildings and maybe kind of walk the perimeter of the square.
Yeah.
So you linger kind of along the edge, and you can see that there's this whole place is surrounded by these tall soup-stained buildings. Not soup-stained. Soot-stained buildings that are kind of leaning in this very large open plaza. And most of the tall leaning shops here are closed. Not a tavern, not a wine sink, not a coaching station, not an inn. Nothing is open. Nothing at all. And you can see that a lot of the gutters are kind of like, they're kind of gravid with water from the rains the night before, threatening to burst. You can see water kind of like pooled up amid the cobblestone. Messiah Square sees a lot of traffic, which means that the cobblestone's been beaten into the mud over the years, and there's several heavy pock marks where wagons would normally rest to be laden with goods, and they're kind of like pools of water there, and you're kind of walking along the edge of Messiah Square. And normally you would, like I said, you would see merchant stalls from here as far as you could see, as far as you could cast a stone. There would be merchant stalls from here to there. Imagine like the markets of London, right? People come here to trade and traffic in local goods and foreign goods. And because it's almost the end of season, a lot of the merchants who are from out beyond Durendal are beginning to kind of get rid of the last of their wares. It's kind of like clearance time so they can head back home. The girdle, specifically, I should say, Durendal, is sometimes called the cauldron. It is a mixing pot of people from all around the world. Primarily the Rovain girdle, but so you find yourselves here. Basiah Square is like it's the center pole of tent. People come here when they visit Durendal. And you were surprised not to find anything open. And even more surprisingly, you don't see anyone else. It's literally these soldiers and these lamplighters. And you can hear, Ellen, these apostles, they are walking about amid the lamplighters, and they are singing some canticle that sounds familiar to you. You can't quite place it from where you're at.
Slamming boards into their foreheads.
You can see like these sensors they're holding, these brass sensors that are swishing back and forth and oozing with smoke, with these small little cinders burning within it.
I'll listen a little bit closer to see if I can understand what they're singing.
Go ahead and make a trivial eavesdrop test.
I'm dropping eaves tonight. Alright, trivia will be 76. And 19 will succeed.
Wow. Well, you recognize almost immediately what they're chanting. It is a hymn from the Holy Librum, the Holy Book. It's called Deus ex Asterius. It's a prayer to the steward.
We got the steward's boys here tonight. Steward's boys seem to be everywhere. But they're not for too bad a company. They're certainly better.
What time was the curfew again?
Midnight.
So we got some
Which is
time.
Yeah.
But Penumbra, and really, I mean, you've been probably in Durendal maybe 24 hours. Last night, you tied one on. I mean, you came here to Durendal and you're like, yeah, let's fucking celebrate. It's the end of the world. It's Penumbra Eve. That's what you would do. Yeah. But now, everyone has went inside and shuttered their doors and every business is closed.
Cowards.
The whole of the city.
Should we make ourselves
Is
more
anyone
obvious at this point?
Still actively closing up shop that I can see?
Yeah, they're kind of in the process of like
Okay.
locking doors and shuttering windows and bringing their wares in. And by the time you kind of begin to walk the perimeter of Basiah Square, there's nary anyone here, save for Brigandine.
Is there a way I can try and catch someone as they're closing up shop?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, a man kind of stops us. Oh, I'm good evening.
It's a little early to be closing up shop, isn't it?
Early, he looks toward the sky, toward this burning blue star in the constellation. Leviathan's eyes out, watching us all. Make no wishes on that one, my friend. It's time to close up shop.
Okay. And haven't heard of this.
It's right there. If you's a lusty lover or an amorous woman, you make a wish upon it, the nightfall they'll bring it true. To me, don't want nothing to do with no wishes. Bad omens, that star. Well, I gotta get going, so maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning, eh?
You're making a wish? I'm making a wish.
It's pretty tempting. But you did say make an appearance. I'm going to do my best, like, leg propped up on a well somewhere.
Maybe we just need to be a little more obvious.
Yeah. Being obvious. I'm all about that.
If we can't find him, maybe he'll find us.
Yeah.
Is there, what's kind of the center focus of this square? It's kind of like a fountain of any form or a statue?
Wonderful question. In fact, you can see just maybe half a stone's throw from where you're at. There is this dark shape that rises above the ground, and you can't really tell what it is yet until you come a little closer and you can see that candles are being laid at her feet. It's this very, very large soaring statue, maybe 12 feet to 15 feet, of this painted woman. In one hand, and she wears this long, this made of stone, or perhaps you would guess. It's marked with kind of green lichen. At her feet, there's a pool of water. And surrounding the lip of the well of the pool, are all these candles have been placed there by these Brigandine soldiers, by the lamplighters. There are offerings, sheaves of wheat, bits of wrapped food stuff, cheese, coins. And you can see as the light, your eyes begin to adjust to the light, you can see the candles flickering, and it comes to illuminate this woman, a very tall woman who looks very matronly. And she has a very gentle look on her face with this death shroud over her eyes. And in her arm, she cradles a baby with no flesh on its skull. You can see its 2 rows of teeth. It's clearly a statue of the martyr. But it doesn't look like her, though. Like you think about like your time at temple or whatever it may be, if you're a religious person, or the images you see of the martyr, it doesn't quite look like her. Like something doesn't quite click.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Uncanny.
Yeah, it's like it looks like it's supposed to evoke the martyr, but it clearly is not her.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
what the hell's up with this thing?
Some interesting depiction, as I'll take a closer look at it.
Oh, without a doubt, it's Messiah. It's one of the 3 magi. It's the first priestess of the martyr.
This is not the martyr as we would know her. This would be one of her saints, priests. This is Messiah. So if you're wanting to have the martyr watch over for you, Messiah would be a proper one to leave something behind to. And she can speak to the martyr on your behest.
It's good to know. Actually, I was looking on climbing up on something to see if I could see this dude.
Maybe
But I'm
not
gonna
that.
guess this isn't it.
Probably
Are you
not.
afraid it'll tip over?
There's all these religious
Worshippers,
folk. I
yeah.
just, you know,
Those boys over there might not appreciate it so much.
yeah, don't want to piss them off until we get our business done.
Oh, well, I think I could distract him and maybe even ask him out to see if, who was it we were looking for?
Amadeus.
Amadeus?
Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Do we know anything about this Amadeus person?
He's a superstar. He's a rock idol.
He's reputedly a low-born man who's coming to a recent spat of money. Who reputedly pays in crowns for work.
My kind of man.
Sounds like
Would you like-
legitimate work.
Would you like me to go and ask those boys and keep them a bit busy so you can climb on your rock?
Absolutely.
You ask them, I'll ask the lamplighter's.
And once they're distracted, I'm going to climb up this statue.
Okay.
I'll hang out with that guy.
I'll assist you. I'll hoist you up on.
That's what I like to hear.
Alright.
I'll probably just keep watch.
I'm gonna stand here looking fantastic.
Good.
Great
So
job at it.
clearly, Ellen is going to go provide a distraction, which she will have to do with a guile test.
Okay.
This test will be secret.
Alright. Okay, secret 34. I got a 15, so hopefully that works.
Keep that or you want to reroll.
Nah, I don't think I should
That sounds
reroll
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
Odds are against you doing much better than that.
Yeah. Very much.
I could have rolled an 11.
You know what? You should definitely reroll because you'll critical fail. We'll get a fortune point.
That's true.
At what cost?
It's a net
Who's
0.
that over there climbing the statue?
That's right. So Ellen goes to speak with these apostles, and the thing that you notice is you're stepping knee deep in the water as you're swishing your way. You knock aside all of these religious baubles as you both gain 1 corruption, and you begin clambering up the statue. The thing that you notice as you're doing this, I should say specifically Randy, you notice that these apostles are not like dressed like priests. They're wearing street clothes and they have truncheons at their side. And they're carrying like these little wooden bowls full of wafers, and they have skull caps on.
That's really
And boiled leather breastplates.
Mm.
But perhaps even more than that, in your case, Gerald, you get a good look at these soldiers, these brigandine as they're called. They're head to toe look like leather daddies. They're like in black leather that's studded, and they have these like massive like mortuary swords at their waist and shields on their back, and they're all looking nervously among one another, like back and forth. They're looking toward the sky. The lamplighters stay close to them. They seem to actually cling very close to the lamplighters you see, and the lamplighters themselves are wearing these heavy green mantles, so they can be seen at night. They don't want to be mistaken for, run them over with a carriage, as an example. And they have these long telescoping brass apparatuses over their shoulder and like a toolbox in their other hand. And there's always a lamp in front of them nearby that they can put on the end of a hook on the end of that brass telescoping thing. So you clamber up, which will require a fail-forward athletics test. That will be routine.
I'm assisting with him.
Yep. So do you have athletics yourself?
I do.
Okay. Give him your assist die. It'll be a routine athletics test.
Pick one.
Okay, routine. This is going to be a 54. No, I'm sorry, 34. No, right the first time. 54 for me to pass. No, you said athletics?
Yeah.
51 for me to pass.
Okay.
Shit, no.
It is a fail forward, so.
Yeah.
I would say an 85 or a 75.
How much splashing around are you gonna do on your way?
You gonna reroll that? We got 8 fortune points.
Take a shot.
Yeah, now that we've flipped them in a particular way.
I'll burn a fortune point.
Which way is?
I'll take that. So they'll give you 1 misfortune
We
point
pay 'em over.
and 7 fortune points remain.
All right.
All right. 51 still. Well, that's got it. That's 20.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Welcome.
Well, you clamber up on top of the statue, clinging to the side of her head, and kind of do this bit. And you can get a good bird's eye view of all of Messiah's Square from here. Like, kind of like if you're looking down. And you can see, not far from here, there is this ghastly looking green globe of light hanging in the air down a far alleyway. Like, it looks like, at first you're kind of like, what is that? Like, it seems unnatural. Like this globe of green light just hanging in the air perfectly still, softly ebbing. And you could swear you could see moths batting against it.
That's weird. I'm not going to call anything out because I don't want to draw attention to myself. But I see that, but I don't see any signs of this Amadeus guy.
We're not really sure what he looks like.
No people out in the square that's not a legitimate bastard, or a lamplighter, or an apostle, or a brigandine.
No one.
Alright, I'll shimmy down.
Sounds like our options are limited.
I got an idea. I'll relay it once I get back to the group.
So these apostles, like, you kind of talk a little bit with them, and they share, you know, a little bit about tonight. So I'll let you elaborate as you wish as you close up your conversation with them, Ellen. What are you doing at this point, Randy? Were you with
I had decided, obviously I don't help anybody with nothing. But what I was doing is I was going to make myself impose a good physical stance to be visible. And then I thought to myself, we don't know what he looks like. He may not know what we look like, but I bet he knows what a tilted crown looks like. So I'm going to roll up my sleeve. Make sure to kind of properly show off my guns. Yeah, just kind of put it out there. Make it nice and visible.
Hey, man. What's going on? You speak to a lamplighter.
We're looking for a fellow by the name of Amadeus. Have you seen anybody out on the streets?
You don't say. He kind of flicks his nose a bit.
I do say.
He's lamplighter right over there. See, he's talking to Lieutenant Reich.
Lieutenant Reich. Thank you. And I'll...
He doffs his little. He doffs his little. His little cap. He's got like a little button top caps. What do you call those? A derby. He's got a derby.
Nice.
Or a bowler hat. A bowler hat.
Oh,
He's got a
yeah.
bowler hat. All right. Stay safe out there, he says. Don't forget your light, he says as you walk away. So you all kind of slowly reconvene.
Some of us wetter than others.
Slash
Yeah,
around
I'll take a
That's what she
coin,
said.
murmur a prayer to the martyr, and then toss a coin into the fountain.
Okay. Toss a coin, Witcher.
Yeah,
Exer.
toss a coin to the martyr.
Toss a coin to the martyr,
Ah,
Exer.
there it is.
Okay. The water that you flick it in and it's kasploosh. Yeah. You can see that the reflection of the candles went away. You can see a lot of brass pennies that were dropped here. Maybe maybe a few shilling or two.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a brass because that's all I got.
There's some flowers floating in the water. There's a nice little wrapped bit of cheesecloth. We're wrapped with twine and a loaf of bread floating in it, thanks to Murdoch.
You know,
Oops.
So you all kind of slowly come back together.
Did you have fun?
I went for a little dip. Isn't the worst swim I've had at night. Isn't the best. Next time, no clothes, and I think I'll have a great time.
There's no point in going swimming with your socks on.
That's true.
It's very true.
Ain't nothing worse than wet socks.
There's lots worse than wet socks.
Yeah.
Well, those brothers over there, they seem to be all in a tussle about tonight being penumbra. And you know what that fellow was saying earlier about seeing something to the Leviathan's eye and the Nightfather making it true and all that rubbish. Well, the apostles, they tend to think it's true too.
Really? I wish I could have two girls at once.
Will you wish upon the Night Father's eye?
I said it, I meant it.
Okay.
I wish I could have two girls at once.
So Randy's gonna make a wish upon the Night
When
Father's
you
eye.
wish upon a star.
It doesn't matter who you are.
So I suppose if it truly is the Night Father, then we should all put our trust in it.
I'm not against that. I just don't want you to show me up.
I should probably.
I should have wished for more. Why did I only wish for two?
Not only is this a foreign constellation that has not been in the sky ever, save for 3 years ago, this star only appeared 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But celestial spheres and all.
Ha! I got it.
Okay.
4 lovers at once, 1 for each hand.
Will you too make a wish upon the Night Father's eye?
Absolutely. Yes.
Stupid one-upsmanship.
Two up you.
You just wish for lovers. Oh, wait, never mind.
You know,
Surely none of you other 4 have any heart's desires?
I have a desire to speak with Amadeus, who I understand is speaking with Sergeant Reich right over there.
Perhaps it's something you should wish for.
I wish I knew what I wanted to wish for.
I wish
That'll be my wish.
I wish I had more wishes.
You too? Little wish, Bill Rash?
Mm-hmm.
Will you look toward the Night Father's eye and utter those words?
Yeah.
I wish I knew what to wish for.
Yes.
That's great.
You shouldn't be fooled by appearances. Nothing in life is free. I wouldn't wish for anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make any wishes.
You're not going to make any wishes.
No,
I make prayers to the martyr. I've tossed my coin.
The best way to earn the ire of the supernatural is to make oneself known to it. So I think I'll just stay silent.
more importantly, I found out where Amadeus is. He's over there talking to Commander Riker.
Sergeant Reich.
No, I was right.
Yes.
No,
Sure.
he's right.
He's right and you're wrong.
Will you approach the two?
Sure.
Come on.
You meander between the soldiers, and a few of them kind of pull back. These muzzled dogs are barking and yelping. These large black sable Dobermans that are fitted with spiked collars, and the hounds about to get over here, Bertha, come on, like pulling the dog back. As these men look very heavily armed for being night watchmen. They look more like a military unit that have left camp. Like they're dressed like for war. They don't have backpacks like that. They're literally just heavily armed.
Yeah, shields with swords.
Yeah.
That's not a...
You approach this Lieutenant Reich and Amadeus, and the two of them are kind of exchanging pleasantries, and they both give each other the pat on the shoulder and maybe a high five, a fist bump. No, they kind of break apart, and Lieutenant as Reich, whether you lieutenant or commander or sergeant, you're not sure, he says, he walks by and continues on, and you can hear this tinkling.
Pick up that trash.
And you hear a tinkling of a bell, and you can see it like immediately, like your eyesight, like you can see it immediately. Gerald, you can see it, this like twinkling this brass bell on the end on the end of his sword, his scabbard.
Well, that's a stupid thing to do.
No, here you're coming.
Right.
Maybe that's the point.
Oh.
It's on.
Well, if they want to hear you
Amadeus's,
coming, there's a better way to do that.
Well, it's on Reich's sword belt,
Right, sorry.
and then you can see,
It's like the Boba Fett spurs, you know.
yeah, and then you see
Their
Amadeus.
representation.
He shifts his weight as he picks back up the toolbox, and the little bell on his waist also tinkles too. It's a tiny little bell
Only 2 people have bells?
that you've seen so far, yes.
Hey there, buddy. Your tiny bell's out.
Well, I'm sorry, my bell is out. What do you mean?
Never mind.
You're joshing me.
Yeah.
I tie my breeches pretty tight. I assure you, my bait and tackle, my cash and prizes is just cupped up in that cossack, as you say, and he kind of readjusts his codpiece, a leather codpiece. He's dressed like every other lamplighter, this man. He has a little bowler cap, a little toolbox, a little plain clothes, a little mantle that's green so he can be seen at night, and a telescoping brass pole with a lamp on the end of it as he picks it up.
Let's have him identify himself.
Is
instead
that
of
one
assuming who he
Amadeus
is.
then?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what Amadeus.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Are you?
I'm willing to bet that you are the crooked, tilted crown. He looks on the inside of his hand. The legitimate bastards.
That's it.
That's
That's
us.
it.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Amadeus Chandler. You just simply call me Amadeus, or Mr. Chandler if you prefer. I must say, you come highly recommended from our friend.
That makes sense. We're all legitimate.
Yes.
Mr. Chandler.
Well, in an instance like this, I would normally say, let us go to the local watering hole and we will wet our whistles. But as you can tell tonight, nothing is open, all boarded up. 7 o'clock, locked up tight. Welcome to the rental, boys. My lady, he
Are you
says.
thirsty?
Well, you know me. It is going to be a long night, and a man does have a certain thirst, but not until the hard work is done.
She takes out a flask and motions it.
Well, maybe we can do that after the hard work is done. Maybe we can come over here and bask in Messiah's countenance, and we can talk a little bit of business. How about that?
Sure.
That sounds fair.
Say, friend, what's your name? As you're walking, he's
Erlander.
Erlander. Pleasure to meet you. He shakes your hand vigorously.
I sort of grab my hand afterwards.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. You know what? You work so long in the streets, and my hands are a bit leathery. My wife is always like, you're manhandling me, but sometimes you like it that way. So forgive my grip.
Forgiven.
Well, isn't that nice? He takes a seat on the edge of the pool. Someone disturbed this. What happened here? Anyway, so perhaps we can get to know one another. I'm Amadeus Chandler. I'm a lamplighter here in Durendal, and I'm a very important person. Tell me a little bit about yourselves.
I am Gerald. My friends call me Jerry. And I'm an, bastard, legitimate.
Right. I do like that name. It has a certain affectation, a flowery sort of sound, I guess.
Yeah.
Just how legit are you, though? That's the question. That's a question to you, my friend. How legit are you?
Legit enough.
That's good.
Too legit.
You got a name, my friend?
Quinn.
Quinn what?
Quinn will do.
Quinn will do? That's a strange surname.
Quinn. Simply Quinn.
Just Quinn? All right, Quinn, it is a pleasure to meet you. You have the smell of horse on you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a regular sort of rustler?
Rider.
A rider. Now, a man who can ride a horse is a trustworthy man. You know, I spent some time back in my day riding horses here and there. King's Post. I was the man. Had the satchel and all. Rode from Durendal all the way west to Kael'Tyrion. all the way north to Old Lork and all the way south to Hornburg, all over this damn place. So, I thought you looked like a horseman.
Familiar eye.
Yeah. All right. What about you?
He's like, people call me Lamb. He puts out his hand.
Whoa, it's like a baseball glove. Your hands are huge.
Yeah, a little bit. And lets out this huge, like, toothy smile. Several of his teeth are missing.
My goodness. I tell you what, if I'm getting shit-ass drunk with a bunch of knaves at the local wine sink, I want a man like you on my side. You're a real scrapper, aren't you?
That's what I'm good for.
Well, every person's got their own place in this world, and I'm not a fighter. I'm not a lover either, my wife would say, but I'm no fighter, so pleasure to meet you. And you, madam?
My name's Ellen Crowley. I'm their conscience.
Ah, you must be, like them. You're
No.
like a cleric or priest or something?
No.
You preach the good word?
You could call me an apostle.
Maybe you could lead us in prayer before Messiah herself. You know she's important. Tell us a story about Messiah.
I once heard that she spent some time in some water.
Possibly hot water.
Well, that's a... I don't remember that one. Is this like a limerick or something?
She blessed it, something like that.
Oh, she blessed the rains in Rovania?
Aye, and it was while she was spending some time in some water. It was kind of warm.
You might say hot, even.
Well, it wasn't hot yet. That was her end.
Have you, I mean, some of y'all from Rovania? Are you from outside? I mean, where y'all from?
A little here, a little there.
Yeah.
There's one thing you can guarantee in Rovania. It's going to rain all throughout winter, all throughout autumn, most of spring, part of summer. Winter's terrible, real damn cold. I mean, it feels nice now. Don't get me wrong, but the rains are coming. The rains of Rovania are coming, and you could thank Saint Messiah for that.
Yes, I've heard that you haven't lived until you've seen the rains of Ravenia.
That's what they say.
You might say she makes it rain.
She might.
What about you, friend? Looks over at Randy.
My name's Randy. I'm pretty far from home.
My word, I don't mean to offend, but you got a certain smell about you. How long you been here and really ain't got a bath yet?
Oh, I need a bath. You see, humors are very important, and I take great pride in my acuity, so to speak. And to keep my head in the game, to be the professional troubleshooter that I am, I need to maintain all of my humors. Keep them close.
Yeah, expression of humors is important. That's
right.
why I go to the comedy theater down the road.
Yeah.
You need to see a doctor about that. My word.
Yeah.
And you must be, let me guess, the red bastard Murdoch Malloy.
You got it right there.
All right. He grabs your hand and shakes it very vigorously.
Oh.
I'll tell you what. I'm mighty impressed. I did not expect this level of veteranship among you all, and clearly you have brought good folk around you and just the right type of people that we look for in new hires.
Absolutely. I personally take credit for hiring each and every one of these fantastic, wonderful people who professionals, legitimate tradesmen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, tradesmen we all do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I can respect that. And we are looking for tradesmen of a type, but my trade, as I'm sure you can understand, is fairly trivial most nights, but the penumbra a little different. We've been playing this for months at this point. I mean, it's finally time. Finally, we got together to do this, but I mean, to be frank, we're gonna light some lanterns tonight. We're gonna light some lamps.
Different kind of lamp, possibly?
What's that?
Different kind of lamp?
Yeah, about 50 of them. We're gonna walk from one side of the city and we're gonna go through Slum Row. And we're gonna light all those lamps, work our way back here. That's it.
That's it? That's what you want us to do?
That's right, and I pay you each 3 crowns.
3 crowns. Just to double check, is this like some sort of double talk where you want us to burn a bunch of poor people? Because that sounds like 3 crowns worth of work.
Well, no, my friend. Look, I know 3 crowns is like, that sounds like that's a It's a queen sum of money, as one could say. But you have to understand, the Baroness, our son of the moon and the stars, the Durendal, God's lover. She's a very superstitious woman. You also have to understand that the people here they fear what could happen to her life again. They almost took her head 3 years ago.
Oh, that's not good.
It's usually bad.
Well, it pays to be
people need
superstitious. It pays even more to take that superstition and make it real. That's why you see these brigandine around here in the streets on the heat. No telling who'd come to try to snick a snack off her head.
My least favorite body part to be taken.
Yeah. You have to understand, everybody loves the Baroness. She's a
I
good
agree.
woman,
I agree
a
with
good
your thought.
governor of Durendal.
Everybody except apparently someone.
Well, some folk, they tried that, but that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is that the Baroness has empowered me to find the finest, most reputable, upstanding cads who are outside of Durendal to do some business. That business tonight just happens to be Lance and Lanterns.
You say we don't have to burn anybody and we still get 3 crowns.
Look,
What if we accidentally do?
a man or a woman doesn't simply walk around with a sword on their waist saying, hey, I'm not looking to start trouble. When you wear a sword on your waist, you're asking for trouble. And that's the kind of power we need to project when we go to light these lanterns so nobody fucks with us. I'm telling you, you have to understand that we, as lamplighters, are very, very important to the Baroness. We light these streets so the people of Durendal feel safe.
So you're needing protection.
Of a kind.
Oh, I'll
From?
get this. I got it. I'll get this.
Yeah.
Now
Well,
I'm in it.
Yeah.
I mentioned before that, we're going into Slum Row, and
Yeah.
look, it's between me, you, and the lamppost, we keep this in a close, tight circle. Slum Row is where a lot of riffraff goes, sure, and I'm sure you spent some time there too. You look like you would. No offense. But in Slum Row, there's Gralsteaders. He kind of whispers the word Gralsteaders under his breath.
All right.
These kind of people.
Forgive me, I did not realize you were a Gralsteader.
That's okay. We're all a bunch of filthy assholes.
We're all a bunch of bastards, to be more specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Gralsteaders are filthy assholes. Some of us aspire to be something more. Something legitimate.
Well,
So I'm a legitimate Gralsteader. I'm not like that riffraff. You can talk bad about him as much as you want.
Yes, we're downright regal compared to them.
Yeah.
Slum Row, in most instances, I mean, I wouldn't put it past no Gralsteader to knock someone, cold cock you across the head and take your cosset, take your purse, as they might not do if they degenerates that they are. But in this case, on this night, Slum Row, we're just trying to be extra precautious. So we need professionals, such as yourselves. If you're willing to take the job. Now, I know 3 crowns is probably the most money you ever seen in your entire life. But I guarantee you will have that 3 crowns at the end of this work tonight. By sunup. You have the golden promise I make to you beneath the statue of Messiah, an ironclad promise. You will have your 3 crowns each when the job is done, when the sun comes up. If you want, of course. 'Cause, I mean,
That sounds fair.
I'm not going to say no to 3 gold crown.
Yep. I think it's time to make some money, baby.
I like the way you call me professional. I'm in.
you can recommend it, It's
The boys need to have their fun sometimes. So I suppose we should do this.
Now,
It's time to get to work.
Oh,
let me be
good.
clear. This is a place of law and order. People don't just get killed in the street. So if you're that kind of folk, I would really urge caution. This may not be the right job for you. Because if you're looking to satiate your bloodlust, this is not the place to do it. People haven't been killed in the streets of Durendal in years. One could say decades.
Not a chance. A
So we're
dead man
going-
can't pay
We're going
his
for
fees.
knockouts.
Absolutely.
Knockouts and intimidation.
On that, I want to double check my pistol, make sure the powder's not wet after my dip in the fountain.
I should,
Okay.
I should hope that violence would always be a last resort.
Yes. First of the last
Intimidation.
resorts.
They wouldn't let me back in the ring if I was killing people and I was fighting.
That's right. I mean, I wouldn't be a lamplighter if I was a killer. I'd be thrown in the clean, get my head cut off. Snick a snack, that's the way it goes. Act like something, you're gonna get treated like something. Roll a d6 chaos die, Murdoch. Let's see if your powder is wet.
4.
Okay. One shot is fine.
All 6. 12, because I got a pistol and a rifle.
We'll just multiply this by 3 for each roll.
Okay.
So 3 shot is safe.
1,
6 shot is safe.
5.
9 shot is safe.
Shit, 6.
9 shot is safe. The rest is ruined.
Maybe it'll dry out with some time.
I'll take my 3 ruined shots and toss them in the fountain.
That's smart. You know, I got a little story to share with you. We should be staying in water, but I got a story to tell you. So as you begin walking with him, he's walking over to this like stone shed at this point. He stopped. The apostles like stop all of you at this point. They're kind of talking with Amadeus, making small talk, and a few of them kind of walk forward, and this one woman, she says, "You all godly men, women."
She nods once she finally says women.
Which God do you hold in your prayers since the cataclysm? The steward, the martyr, or the learner?
I don't know enough
Martyr.
about them, probably.
The martyr. What of you, friend?
Don't know enough about them.
He turns toward, or she turns toward Billarash.
Martyr seems more my type.
She looks toward the statue. What of you?
I would be a fan of the learner.
A fan, the learner.
Mm-hmm.
And you?
Steward, completely, totally, all the way.
It's really hard to choose. Sometimes I wish somebody could teach me the right way to do things. Sometimes I wish somebody would take mercy on me whenever I fuck up. I fuck up a lot, so probably I need the mercy.
I'll reach into my shirt and hold out my holy symbol for the learner.
She will say some sort of small prayer, different prayers to each of you, and she will press upon your chest a purity seal with hot wax. It's a little flap of ribbony paper. Those who said the steward will gain +5 to all combat-based skill tests until the morning. Those who said the learner get +5 to all perception-based skill tests until the morning. And those who said the martyr get +5 to willpower-based skill tests until the morning.
Oh, nice.
It pays to be a worshiper. However, those who made a wish upon the star gain nothing but 1 corruption.
That's alright.
I'm net neutral at this point. I didn't pick one and I didn't make a wish.
Well, I may not get my bonus, but I've yet to see if I get 2 levels.
Well, like I was saying, you mad
See how
bastard.
much more corruption
I'm
we
glad.
get by the end of it.
I'm glad you put gunpowder in the water. You know, there's an interesting little story that people here in Dorinda know about Messiah. You know the word, the good word from the Libram? You know
Yeah.
the good word?
Absolutely.
Well, I got a story for you that's not in the Libram. It's a good one, too. So, there's this woman. She was this pilgrim. Made a pilgrimage from halfway across the world, from the first shore all the way here to Durindal. I mean, back then, the Durindal was not even like a Rovanian settlement. It was like a little trading post for Dun folk, Midlanders and whatnot. And here, where we're standing, she performed one of her first miracles. People have been complaining about the wares combusting spontaneously and seeing grinning faces in the fire. Now, you know the people of yesteryear, they're pretty superstitious, so bear with me as I tell you the story. So she came to the square, and she took all the council, and she determined a devilish presence had possessed this very place we stand upon. 500 years ago, at least. You know what she did? She came to a standing plinth of rock, and he points to the statue at a distance. Poured pie shot before it, said a prayer, and set it alight. And then she called forth an exercise of ravenous spirit in front of dozens of witnesses. This literally converted every single Dunnish. Those dummies with the marble mouths from the hills, converted every single one of them to Church of the Covenant. She became sainted. You know what they did with that rock? They did that. They turned it into her. And that's why this place called Messiah Square. So your offering of gunpowder is very, very appropriate.
That's what I meant to do.
I'm sure.
Legitimate
offering.
It's important. We gotta, say your prayers and throw something over your left shoulder when you cross a witch and let a black cat go on its way and don't step beneath ladders and break a mirror 7 witness bad luck. I mean, all that stuff is real.
Have I ever heard that story at all?
No.
What about me?
No. The story's not familiar to any of you.
Would I know it with a local lore check by any chance?
Roll a folklore test.
Yeah.
And what is your culture? Your ancestry?
Oh, well, I guess I wouldn't know it. Folk. So.
Your folk. Well, actually,
Well,
you would know
maybe.
this perfectly because the Dunnish who converted to Church of the Covenant are called folk. You're very
That's
familiar
your
with the story.
Yes.
This is like a myth.
That's your culture and heritage.
No, it's not. But
It's your
pretend
heritage.
that it is for now.
As you're walking along with Amadeus, as he's telling this story and he gesticulates back to the statue, you can see along the walls that lead into Messiah Square these like really profane looking graffiti has been painted here of this woman being daggered from behind. This woman in like this huge ball gown who's wearing her crown on her head. You can see that not far from that there are these lamplighters who have buckets of water and soap and are scrubbing them off the walls. Amadeus seems to pay no mind to it.
I assume that might be
Seems
some
like
negativity towards the Baroness.
Yeah.
Might ask him about it.
Oh, what's that, I'm sorry?
Just ask him if that's some negative sentiment towards the Baroness.
Oh! Well, I'm not one to sow rumors, but there's you can look in practically any street corner here in Rendell and find a penny dreadful of catching her and a few gentlemen in flagrante delicto, as they say. That's the name of the penny dreadful. It's not a very good look, and the people who pressed that, who made that book, have been strung up by their ears. Yep, here it is. Stupid bastards. Not you all. Don't get me wrong.
No, we're legitimate bastards, not stupid bastards.
Yeah.
Different.
Well, my things are here just around the corner from this little stone shanty. I'm gonna go get my cart. I'll need someone to help me pull it. Or someone to pull it. Probably better if somebody just does it for me. And I'll get the rest of my things together. You all take about 5-10 minutes. I'll go get my things ready and we'll meet back here. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. He goes around behind this building and opens up this iron gate and disappears, leaving all of you to talk.
So,
I suppose I'm on cart duty.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to
probably
say it,
so.
but I'm glad you volunteered. So,
That would
while I
be-
was up there on the statue looking around, I saw this weird thing in an alley. Any of you familiar? It's like a green light that was like shaking, wiggling a little bit. I haven't had anything to drink today, so I'm sure it was there.
How much have you had to drink before you didn't have anything to drink today?
Wait, is this a math question?
Maybe.
Yeah, is what he's saying ring? Do they ring any bells?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say, and I would point out the direction of that I saw from the square. Like, we should just maybe stay away from there.
So if we get in that area of town, clench our buttholes tight and look for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Glowing green trouble. Could
Right.
be Scooby-Doo.
yeah.
Zoinks.
Yeah.
Doing the jinkies.
A little time passes, and he comes back around, and you hear this wooden cart. He's literally pulling by hand. This like 2 wooden wheeled carts, and it's laden with a few things that are rattling around inside. All right, who's gonna pull the cart? Okay.
Step over to it.
What was your name again? Bill Rash.
My friends call me Lamb.
All right, here you can borrow my gloves if you want. Take some gloves off.
Don't need them.
Sure, this is a splinter of bastard's been sitting out in the rain for about a season.
I don't think anything could pierce these.
All right, I trust you. I trust you. Well, if you need them, put them back there anyway. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Not far from here, there is a green light.
Yeah.
And that's the
saw
direction we got to go. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's the Founder's Lamp.
Oh.
That's a normal thing then?
Well,
That's-
yeah, it's
that's
kind
a
of...
relief.
That's where the main road starts. We're going to go from Besiah Square, and we're going to enter Slum Row. Slum Row runs pretty deep in the city. There's a... He kind of pulls out this folded piece of paper that looks like it's been well worn, and you know, just kind of unfolds it, and he says, "This right here is where we're at, Besiah Square." Okay, you see that?
I definitely want to make sure I get a good look at the map. I've got
Yeah.
navigation, so it's like,
That's right. This is Founder's Square.
it'd be good to get an eye on
This is
that.
where we're going to start our journey of a sort. And then we're going to make our way all the way through this little district right here called Slum Row. And you can see the road twists and winds along the river's edge. Well, we're going to make our way through there, and we'll eventually come back here to Besiah Square, but it's going to take several hours. He holds the map out, and it doesn't, like, on the... There's no increment of distance on it, but it doesn't look very far.
And there's 50 lamps.
But give or take. Most of them are, we only light them on penumbra. From penumbra to umbra, so from autumn to spring. We light these lamps every night since, well, you know, he says, looking toward the sky without really saying what it is. This is what we do, and it makes people feel safe, keeps the priests off our thresholds, the door knockers and whatnot. Keeps everybody feeling good, and people look at the Baroness, and she brings light to those who are impoverished in Slum Row and makes everyone feel good about themselves. They can travel the streets at night, not be worried about being jumped or being stolen away by a bunch of kidnappers. And that's what the Baroness did. That's what people love her. That's what we're going to do. We're going to light all these lamps, but we haven't lit them since last season, so... or 2 seasons ago, so I'm sure you can understand it's going to take a little bit of time to get these lamps lit. You look in the back, like when he says this, Erlander, you look in the back of his cart and there are no oil pots.
And how exactly do you intend to light these lamps?
Oh, tut-tut. You will soon learn, my friend. Look for the ghastly green light. We'll start there, and I'll show you a little bit as we go along. Sound like a plan?
All right.
Get ourselves some honorary lantern lighters here.
I know this job sounds a little bit beneath you, but trust me,
Hey,
people like you of a certain bent, professionals, will be valuable to us and to the Baroness. I will speak on your behalf to her right-hand man.
You just give a heads up when you need us to start giving the stink eye to look us on.
The price is right.
What is in this cart?
You look back and you can see there's a toolbox that he had before. There are all these strange iron apparatuses, bolts, there are these brass tubes, there are these fat fuses that look like they would go inside of a lamp, but something much larger. You can see a box of matches, and a few other cinders. You're not really sure what they are. There's a heavy canvas that he's draped over the top of it as you take the cart.
Okay.
You imagine this would be pulled by a donkey, this cart. It's not heavy by any means, it's just a little cumbersome. Well, if there's anything you need to do before we go, urinate.
Could always brought my horse.
Do you have a horse?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, you have a horse. You want to strap to the horse?
Might make sense. Keep our hands free.
Oh, I'll help you with the harness, my friend.
suppose if we are going to be walking through hours, probably best to
Okay,
relieve.
I'll ride my horse.
Quinn, what's your horse's name?
I gotta make a name for my horse. Because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have a horse yet or not. So I'll come up with a name for him.
Daniel.
Yeah.
No, that's its name.
It's gonna be Horse Daniel.
Yeah.
Could be Clint,
Clint. Yeah, that's a good one.
since it's a horse with no name.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Clint, the horse with no name? Clint?
Clint.
That's very clever. I read that penny dreadful myself. Saw that performed in the theater, a 3-act. First act was great, second, Third was fantastic, though. All right, so we'll connect the cart here to the horse, just like this. He kind of clambers over the horse, and they lash it up and whatnot. And it's okay. We're just gonna head down this cobblestone road. No big deal. Don't drag a damn weapon. Come on, let's go. Anything else you need to do? Sorry, didn't mean to press you.
No.
You can see as you're beginning to follow behind him on the cobblestone road as the wagon begins to rattle. This is kind of like on the back of, or something. All everything's inside of it rattling the cobblestone. The horses plop, 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 slowly. That the streets are devoid of people. There are no lights in the windowsills, and curtains are beginning to part. You can see shutters close on the windows from the outside. Nobody is in the street, save for the 7 of you and Amadeus.
That's good, maybe. For what it's worth, I'll be on my horse.
Okay.
I'll actually ride it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Without a doubt, this seems pretty suspicious.
Mhm.
I mean, being outside is enough to cause nervousness, but this seems really suspicious, probably to some of you. Like, what's going through Erlander's mind at this point?
Well, he's not wearing any armor, so if anything goes awry, I can get right to his neck. That's what's going through his head.
So you're concerned about whether or not that Amadeus Chandler is on your side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
he's paying people he's heard of to do something that really any group of shit kickers from around town could do. And would probably like to earn 3 gold for, considering there's a slum full of shit
Not only
kickers.
that, but they got the whole squad of brigandines that are already pretty decked out.
Yeah, dressed
Seem
for
like
war.
They're perfectly
So,
good candidates for this, if not being overkill.
yeah, I can smell the paint from the target on my back.
What of yourself, Gerald?
I mean, he's feeling pretty comfortable, I think, right now, because, I mean, he's got his armor on, so unlike, my friend there. I have that, and then also he has a bundle on his back, which contains the 2 swords of a hexer. So, like, they're not out in like plain view, because he knows that it's usually not looked well on by the local constabulary. So
you have a cold iron sword and an iron sword?
yeah.
Is that your iconic item you chose?
Yeah, it was a cold iron mortuary sword, and then I have a regular mortuary sword. So I have those kind of in a bundle strapped to my back, and so I feel pretty confident. I just have to keep my eyes out, and then I know my skills, so even unarmed, I'm still dangerous.
Yeah. At this point, like, you've moved maybe like 10, 15 minutes. Ellen, like, you clearly know that, like, this is a very auspicious night. I mean, it is but they don't know, but we know that you clearly are an apostle of the Night Father, and it is tonight, upon Penumbra, since the Cataclysm, that star has revealed itself, burning icy blue in the sky. Like, tell us a little bit about your relationship with the Night Father.
She grew up with the Source, and was, a believer in it. And then she started to discover what the Source had done by spreading across the land and incorporating all of the gods that were, there in just making it one aspect of the 3. And she sort of discovered that no, there is a smaller voice out there that you can hear, particularly when you say his prayers to him, which is not with words but with small little beads. So that's kind of how she discovered that. And when she started to do that a little bit more and more, so long as it wasn't like foolhardy, she found that she had more success in the things that she was doing. So, you know, whether or not the Nine Father favors her or not, like, she believes he does.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say.
He was a tricky one.
Yeah. So, you know, it could be just sheer coincidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's thinking about tonight, and she's just kind of keeping an eye out for how we, the 7 of us, can benefit from, you know, the street being abandoned, and the trust that we have in the 7 of us. Like, how can we capitalize and maybe come out on top? Besides just the 3 gold.
So, among the legitimate bastards, there were 3 of you who made a wish upon the Night Father's eye. Bill Rash, what is your dooming?
Climb not the mighty oak.
Okay. So, from the context in which that dooming was given to you, how would you, like, as you made the wish upon the star, you feel a little weird. Like, you can't help but feel strange. And those who made a wish upon the star, who have a dooming. So, what is your dooming, Murdoch?
Blood will be upon your hands.
And what about Randy?
From the cold, something eyes you hungrily. It is a little bit chilly tonight. That is almost like an eye in the sky.
I wish for a lover for each hand.
I think I just
What
need
am
to
I-
not climb trees and I'm good.
I think it's maybe not quite that obvious.
No. It is.
You still have time to wish tonight.
Yeah, that's all right.
I think you should.
Mm-hmm. Wish that your horse could talk.
All I need is a sharp peanut butter for that.
Murdoch, what was your dooming again? I'm sorry.
Blood will be upon your hands.
And Randy?
Could call my
From
horse
the
Ant
cold,
instead.
something eyes you hungrily.
Love it. Okay. So you begin to approach this green mote of light, and you realize that it hovers inside this huge glass crystal sphere, something like a mote of burning green light ebbs like a firefly in and out and in and out. And as the cart comes to a stop, he turns to Belrash and says, I need you to grab that ladder and climb the pole.
All right.
You can see that the pole has these kind of like iron hooks that almost look like branches that come off of it. I'll help you with the ladder here. You stand still. I'm going to tell you what to do.
This is a nice oak ladder you got here.
It's sturdy. It's
I'm
sturdy
going to put
wood.
my hand in front of his chest, and then I'm going to say, why does he have to climb this?
He's got a strong grip.
Don't you,
Makes sense. to me.
lamplighter?
I told you I'm going to show you how all this works. Come on up. He nothing to worry about.
I feel like,
Why don't you go on up and show us
he's
how it
not
works?
showing us.
This is one of those
Set the ladder in place.
tail don't show moments. Okay, are you up there?
Yep.
He clambers up this like teetering oak ladder that kind of groans and creaks beneath it, and you're about 12 feet off the ground, and the light is blaring inside your eyes. Okay, here. He kind of comes halfway up the ladder and hands you like this iron, like it looks like a skate key, like for a skateboard. Like all right, take this. This is what we're gonna do. There's gonna be a bolt right there. You see that bolt I'm pointing at? Can you see it?
I think so.
I want you to turn that bolt leftwise about 2 clicks. Just like 1001, 1002, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it.
Which one's my left?
Your left hand, my friend.
The jab.
Oh.
That's good. That's really good. So you're a little bit uncertain of this, but you're going to light it. So make a tradecraft test.
Oh.
This test will be trivial. He's telling you what to do.
Okay. What is tradecraft? Willpower.
Mm-hmm.
I got 37.
Oh God.
It's flip to fail, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Flip to fail?
Yep.
30 then. I rolled a 3. So
You made it.
30.
You made it.
Wow, nice.
You hear this click, click, and then the light just begins to burn very, very bright. And you can hear this hissing sound instead of this low
Don't breathe deep.
coming from inside the lamp. And there's this like weird smell coming from it. All right, climb down carefully now.
All right.
So that thing, and so I'm gonna say he's talking to you at this point. He's like, look, inside each of these glasses, there's like a lime oxide element. That element is white hot. You don't want to take that glass off and touch it. It will burn. It'll burn a hole right through your hand. I've seen it happen to a man wearing gloves. It burns white hot. You see, through these poles, there's lime oxide running, power shot running throughout all beneath the city. It's piped in, so to speak, from below the mines.
This place is gonna blow.
It's what keeps these lanterns lit. It's a modern marvel, my friends.
Terrifying modern marvel.
Well, you know, it did come from the mines of a very well-known Eloranite.
Geralt loves Soloranites. Like my other characters don't. But Geralt, I decided it does.
So, who's going to be the keeper of the cards?
Uh-oh. Do we not want this?
I mean, it's just responsibility keeping track of stuff.
No, we've been in other campaigns.
But
so
me and
that's
Adam
what
know things, so we
Yeah.
shouldn't be in charge of things.
I'll do it. I suppose.
We'll make Clint the keeper.
That's all right. My horse.
So your first card is a non-player character named Amadeus Chandler.
All right.
These are contextual clues that we will review at the beginning of every game, but also these are ways for you to have things handy so you can look at them later so you know what to so you can share them with everybody. And the second is a term you've never heard of called Eloranite.
All right. Yeah. I do not know that.
All right. So that's the first one.
Maybe you can familiarize us
One
with
of
that
50.
while we move along.
Well, give or take 50. I mean, I'm not marking the map or anything, but if I cat them out, hold on a second here.
It's gonna be more than 50.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's probably as high as you can count.
Well, there's 50 of them. Yeah, 50. I mean, you can see here there's a lot of spurs on the road we don't need to go down. But we just keep following us through Slum Realm, we'll find it. Next stop, we're not too far from Lovelock Bridge. That's our next stop.
Lovelock Bridge. It's all coming together. We're gonna see 2 lonely ladies on there.
Maybe even 6.
Maybe even 6. I would hope more than 4, because then it'd be awkward to share.
I don't want to share. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You could be
neither of us
my
are good
damn
at
wish.
you could be unlucky. It could just be 4.
I still haven't thought of anything to wish for.
you should wish for Clint to talk.
Yes.
I wouldn't much like that.
You should take it upon yourself to do that for me.
As the large
Right.
oak tree comes falling down on him, he'll wish he had never come to this town.
Well, you're making your way towards Slum Row as best as you could understand it.
Yeah.
This whole place is like silent as a crypt.
I'm not such a towny person, so I'm already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm an outdoorsy kind of person.
There aren't any trees that grow. There's no promenades. There are no grassy areas. It's just stone upon stone everywhere. This place looks like it's been built from the ground up, hewn from a mountain, turned into cobblestone, and arranged. This place has no greenery, no rural space at all, and the cobblestone road at some point or another just turns into this maze of narrow, muddy streets that snake between these wooden shanties. And like the transition between Basaya Square to Slum Row is very clear. All right, here's the next lamp. He stops.
RTX on, RTX off.
I'm gonna get this one here. You stay here. Just hand me up that wrench. The lamp is off. It is not on.
I give it to him.
Okay. He'll begin to clamber up and begins his long labors. And laborious it is.
While he's up there, Alan's gonna look around and see just like what the environment's like, if there's any mischief that could be made at all.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's also a similar situation. Windows shuttered, you know, it's all closed off.
Both of you go and make awareness tests. These tests will be routine.
Where are you? Either one of these. 6 I can read.
27 success.
Let me double check what I get with
Look like yourself,
situational awareness.
Quinn.
I gotta double check what I get from situational awareness.
Ah,
I think I can re-roll a failed awareness.
what is that your
One of
your
my
special
traits.
trait?
Yeah.
I think it's a failed awareness test you can reroll.
Yeah.
It's awareness and eavesdrop, I believe.
I failed. Pass.
Well, the good thing is the two of you are kind of keeping an eye out, just in case anything may go amiss. The rest of you are like, man, this place is a shithole. Like, it literally turns from a cobbled area, well-maintained, to this just, like, muddy road. And it's been raining for days. So, like, there's like, bits of lumber that have been laying in the mud, the clapboard that have been pressed into the mud, and there's grass growing around it, and there's, like, pools of water in the middle of the muddy ruts. Like when he was talking earlier about the Baroness building this lighting system through the worst part of the city, it shows. And soon enough, that light begins to glow green, kind of like slowly ebbing, and everything is covered in this sickly green light.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there any heat emanating out of this?
Not unless you get close. You can feel the heat on the glass. You felt it earlier, I should say, when you were up on the ladder.
Yeah.
Okay.
The two of you are kind of keeping an eye out just in general, kind of to see if anything looks kind of strange. But for now, you don't really see anybody hiding. There's just these old wooden shanties and clapboard shacks and a skid row, so to speak, among this slummy area. There's nobody in the street. There's no wild dogs. There's no carts, no horses. Clearly, people clearly live here, but they're nowhere to be seen. Silent as a crypt, save for the shuddering of the wind.
I've been in some slums in my time. I've never been in no slums that's been this quiet.
It's an entire town afraid of the dark. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes there's reasons to be afraid of the dark.
you know what else is odd?
The reasons are us.
What I find truly odd, no one seems to make their own light.
You look around, and it is autumn. And in fact, Alan brings up a very intriguing point. No chimneys or small stoves billow with smoke. There is no light to be seen in the windowsills. There are no candles or lamps that you see, just the sliver of light behind curtains or shuttered windows.
All dark.
It's completely dark, save for these lamps.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it seems a little odd.
Maybe they're
I
just so
often
poor
find
they
it's
can't
best
afford-
it's just best not to think too much about things.
I
The world will
agree.
keep moving regardless.
That's true. I
Thinking
mean,
makes that hurt.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not long as you begin wandering through these twisting streets, and you lit a lamp here or there, and as you kind of look behind, as you realize you're kind of going further downhill as the city winds its way down, you can see through the fog of night. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 lamps you've left in your wake. Your night is not yet done. It's been an hour.
We're gonna be here for a while.
That's not going so fast.
No.
But we can see the lights through the fog.
You can, yes, very clearly.
In that case, as the cart continues to go, I want to start slowly. I want to gradually move more slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think I'm at a safe distance away from the cart, I want to approach one of these dark houses so I can give a knock on the door.
You come up to this house, and it looks like it's been constructed of a robot that's been disassembled. It It looks like it's part of crates slapped together, some mispainted, some billboards that have fallen over perhaps in the higher part of the city, an old raft for a roof, mud and thatch to patch up the holes. A simple wooden door that is clearly barred from the inside, and you quietly rap upon it.
Does anybody?
There's no answer.
I'm gonna cup my hand on the door and speak as much as I can through the door without speaking up.
Okay. You lean in and you cup your hand to the door. You hear a dog barking from within.
Well, all right then. Suppose I'll rejoin the group.
You hear from the other side of the door. You hear a. What do you want?
I want to speak about why you people hate the Baroness.
I have none of that. Please go away.
My name is Erlander. I'm not from this town. I'm a folk. I want to know what's going on here.
Find your way to Messiah Square. Traffic well, looking up to the stars. God's be with you.
And with you. I'll leave.
A few moments later, Erlander kind of comes back into the light. There's a single swinging.
Number 1 and number 2.
Both.
3.
I don't blame you.
There's a single swinging lantern, by the way, off so like this long pole that kind of hooks over an iron hook, kind of doing this bit, and it holds a swinging lantern about a little bit higher than the horse's haunches on the back of the cart that's kind of rattling back and forth, and the light's always threatening to wink out because it's hitting the cobblestone and the mud and muck. Like, it's a little more difficult for it to move. The horse it is. But it's kind of the light's constantly threatening to wink out, so the light sloshes as the oil sloshes back and forth inside of it. It kind of dims and then brightens and then dims, and you think it's going to go out, then it brightens once again, leaving you. That is the only light that you have between you and the other lampposts.
Let's make sure we got somebody right. I'll relight that.
I mean, Geralt, he relies on his instincts. He doesn't need light. I actually have the talent instincts. So I ignore fog, mist, etc.
You're a weird guy, Jerry.
Jerry.
I think I actually have oil.
Yeah, I actually have a torch too. Might not be a bad idea to light.
I have an oil pot for my trappings. So.
I think you guys just need to stop worrying so much. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll carry the bloody thing.
Yeah, you can do that if you're that scared.
I'll carry it.
I don't want to step in something that's not mud.
Good luck.
It's not far.
Some lovely filth up here.
It's not. Did anybody light anything? Another lantern? Another torch? Anything?
I might light a
I have
torch,
a lantern.
'cause I've
Yeah,
got
it's
some.
in a pot, so I'll light up a lantern.
Do you have a lantern?
I do.
Okay, yeah. So, probably wise. Bill Rash lights a lantern. Quentin sparks a torch. Torches obviously last for an hour. Lanterns will burn for 6 hours, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, you've got a generous amount of light, which is good near you. And as they're kind of near the fire, Randy, the fire of the torch and the light, your hands are really cold.
Make sure to get him up in my pits real deep.
You seem to have forgotten your gloves. Maybe you left them back in the Sicer. What you're doing again?
Oh, it's from the cold, something eyes you hungrily.
And that's when you begin to notice, like, the muddy, twisted roads, they kind of stop, and there's this weird, broken stone arches amid Slum Row. Like, crumbled arches, like old ruins. These kind of tall, cylindrical pillars rising up, like almost like Grecian pillars, that have buildings that have crumbled to pieces. And you can see large blocks kind of gathered here and there on the sides of the road. And there's all this wild grass growing amid them. And it's quiet. And you can hear the crickets a little more clearly too. And something smells fishy in the air. And your hands are a little cold, Randy. And you can see a few trees bereft of leaves.
I noticed that he's doing that with his hands. I'm going to toss the gloves that Asmodeus gave to me when I was going to pull the cart.
Asmodeus.
Amadeus.
Amadeus.
No, it's good. It'll be Asmodeus now.
You know what, Lamb? You
Rock me,
wanna give-
Asmodeus. Deal. Welcome to night level hell. He hands you the gloves and you put them on, and he must have left these gloves in the icebox underground because they are freezing, Randy. It's like, you know when it gets cold outside, it's so cold it hurts to like bend your fingers? That's what it feels like for you, Randy, tonight. And it's not a particularly cold night. I mean, it's late autumn. It's wet. It's damp. It's maybe 53. But here in these strange ruins, like, you just feel really cold. And then just when you realize that you can see this broad, half-collapsed, trellised bridge that spans this low creek, or river, I should say. The bridge, this promenade, must be easily would accommodate a fancy coach and every attendant they could possibly muster on horseback. You can imagine something that looks like a Cinderella, like in a fancy carriage made of wood and glass and brightly painted, along with her attendants and others on horseback going across this trellis bridge, perhaps in full daylight.
Probably all with their pinkies out.
That's right. It's how they pee too.
Yeah.
Pinky out. Very fancy. But now, in the dark, at night, like, this place looks dilapidated, it looks half collapsed, and it seems like when you kind of came toward here, there are other roads that kind of gathered here, like almost like it's a main artery of Slum Row, and it looks like Slum Row was erected amid all these ruins of the city. Like an older city was built here, had collapsed, and the shanties were built around the ruins. And there's all this scintillating light, reflections coming from the bridge, where these tall pillars and all this chicken wires being kind of twisted between the pillars on it, because the trellises collapsed into the river. But some of them still stand. They're made of wood and stone. And there's all this scintillating of different colors, like almost like the scales of, or like the glint of coins fastened into the walls of this trellised bridge. And as you begin to approach, you can see there's all these rudimentary looking locks that have been fastened to the trellis bridge. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. As all these locks have been upon here. And you can see this old sign that says, Love Locker Bridge.
How far away is the bridge from where are we heading right to it?
They're about 30 yards out. You look around and Amadeus is nowhere to be found. You've lost sight of him.
Oh,
How did we screw that up?
shit.
You kind of... Where'd Amadeus go?
I
Yeah,
get my
the key too.
my
These
musket.
lights.
Do you think we got ahead of him or we fell behind him?
Let's look out and see if another one of these lights blinks on. Rush to it.
You look around and you're looking toward the bridge and your eyes are adjusting to, I mean, you're in the light and you're looking in the darkness, so it's hard to see anything in the darkness of the light lit. You'd have to extinguish your light to let your eyes adjust to the night to see. Is that something you're willing to do?
Not entirely.
I'll get my rifle ready.
Maybe somebody with more keen eyes.
I want to look at the ground, see if I can. If it is as muddy out as you say, then perhaps there's tracks. If they're ahead of us or not. I imagine Geralt would have been more towards the front of the party, so you like put up a hand and say, "Hey, don't move. I'm gonna look for tracks."
Geralt kind of takes a step forward and fuck. He picks up the mud and sniffs it, and you kind of look around the ground. Go ahead and roll a survival test. This test will be routine. It rained the night before.
Okay.
See some glowing red footprints.
With an 09, I succeed.
You do see tracks, and they seem to go toward the edge of the bridge and underneath. And these tracks are strange. Clearly somebody was barefoot out here at night? That makes no sense. In fact, whoever was walking here was club-footed because they were dragging the other foot.
I point towards these.
Don't recall Amadeus being barefoot or clubfoot.
Right. Seems odd. I would think everyone would be home now. Seems like someone's out and about.
Well, that's fucked up.
I suppose since Amadeus isn't here, now's a good time to tell everyone that I lingered back for a minute and tried to speak with one of the people in these shacks. They're too scared to come out. They don't want anything to do with anything or anybody who's out after dark. So whoever this is,
It's not Amadeus.
it's not Amadeus, and it's not any of the people here who try to lead decent lives.
It's probably just some beggar who ain't got his own little hovel. So he went under a bridge, because that's as good as he's got.
Only one?
Maybe it's a tough town to be a beggar. Maybe he's like King Beggar.
There can be
Perhaps
only
it's-
one.
Yeah, maybe it's like all the beggars come here and only the toughest beggar
Battle
gets the
Royale
bridge.
beggars.
Right? Because they're scared, right? So they have a fight to the death and only the toughest beggar survives. And then he gets the bridge. So that's like the King Beggar.
King of the
beneath there.
underbridge.
Yeah.
The chicken dinner, as they say.
We should
Maybe
recruit him.
I was
Maybe
just
If he's
thinking
King
that.
Beggar, we should recruit him.
Maybe each winner puts a lock on the bridge.
Yeah. I'm going to draw my pistol and I'm going to head towards the locks on the bridge.
Are you going to stay within the light or leave the light?
I'm going to leave the light.
As you leave the light,
Oh, frick.
at the apex of the bridge are these two thin, willowy people. One is taller than the other. This person is holding the other person's hands in theirs. And they're whispering, and their heads kind of crane upward toward the sky, almost like in perfect profile, toward the Night Father's eye. You can hear them utter a prayer. A prayer of undying love. And that is when you notice something on the other side of the bridge, on the other side of where the bridge terminates. You see the flash of a cleaver. You see this person dragging their leg, moving slowly toward the pair of them. And we'll roll initiative.
Oh.
Here's what you're going to do. You will put your name at the top of this card. Everybody gets a card. You will put your number in a big circle beneath of it. Just like so. Alright. That should be everybody.
Trended for disaster over there, Chuck.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I believe one more is needed.
Oh, sorry about that. Put it on both sides.
Oh boy, I love my number. What a lucky number this is.
I got a really lucky number 2.
Now is my, there we go.
I will need your results. Just hand it back to me when you're done.
Yeah.
Alright.
Lucky number.
Nice.
Oh shit.
Sure. Okay. Randy, what's your perception bonus?
My perception bonus is 3. Well, it's piss pot.
What's yours?
Which,
Four.
when abbreviated.
4. Okay, so you go first. Got everybody else's results here? Just hand them around.
Sorry.
Alright.
Slow your roll, King Beggar. We have an opportunity.
Jerry and Quinn, what are your perception bonuses?
4 is what mine is on mine.
7.
7. Okay. Bill Rash and Ellen, perception bonus?
3.
3.
We will start first. Erlander.
Boy.
Erlander. You can see this figure moving slowly, crawling along the bridge, sticking to the shadows, not coming toward them, but skirting around them. And you can see the flash within the light coming from the Leviathan's eye. And the new moon, only the starlight to see by, the scattering of the red star field. You see the flash of a vicious cleaver, blood red. What will you do?
I'm gonna aim my pistol at the cleaver-wielding man and pull the trigger.
No.
Right.
Going
Your
right
pistol
at it.
loaded?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You pull back the trigger. You line up a ranged attack.
Mm-hmm.
Boom! You pull the trigger. He is 50 yards out.
Well, okay.
You were 30 yards from the bridge.
That's
And the
true.
bridge is 20 yards long.
The first one's a
So what's the
warning.
distance of your pistol?
Not 50. I can guarantee you that.
50.
Not even at long range, no.
The first shot's a warning.
So the shot, boom! He fires like quickly, like reacting, thinking like, you got it. And perhaps it's just the fact that light and darkness has kind of like warped your vision. Your eyes haven't quite adjusted to the darkness, and you fire a shot and you see this muzzle flash. And then you can see the couple, like, they kind of pop up. And then the flash of the blades that the person stops, looking and taking us to Randy. Randy, what are you gonna do?
Fuck are you doing, Erlander?
What do you do?
Well, this isn't a good idea, but I haven't gotten where I am today by doing the smart thing. I'm gonna start my unique perspective of sneaking up there.
Okay.
I will also myself, basically the inverse of the weird clubfoot dude, also be kind of like snaking my way up there.
Yeah. So so you can hustle, charge, run.
Unfortunately, thanks to the footpad ability, I don't have to spend extra AP to sneak either.
Perfect. So what will you do?
I've got a movement of 9. I
You were
will.
30 yards out from the bridge.
Yeah, so I can get close. I can triple my 9 and
So
be
you're gonna run.
close.
9. All right. So suddenly, Randy bolts off into the darkness, leaving the gloves in his wake.
Yeah.
Make a stealth test. It is a secret test.
Okay.
So remember, whenever you attempt to sneak, ride, drive, things like that, you always add an AP rider on top of your actions. But the footpad gets to ignore that.
Yeah.
You can just sneak at full speed. No
So
additional
despite
action
his
spent.
immense size, it's like watching some mountain cat. It's like, how does that giant man just like...
Animorphs.
Unnatural.
legitimate stealth?
Should call ourselves the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I think we
Good roll.
might have some copyright issues
League
with
of
that one.
Perfectly Ordinary Gentlemen.
League of Perfectly Ordinary Bastards.
Should we go to that already?
I was just pointing out that it's there.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
He's the boss.
Ah,
The boss says shot. I listen.
Shot glass is behind
Oh
the
my
orange
God.
bowl. That's an empty shot glass.
Oh, seriously? Oh, okay.
Take what you
God. So,
So we
for
did-
those who are watching or listening, what we always do on Saturday Night Games is we have fortune points, and then if you don't want to use a fortune point, you can take a shot and then re-roll your test.
Oh man, that's like a double easy.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that is a double.
oh, you bought another roll for someone or yourself. I feel your pain from here.
God wills it.
It is known.
Hey! It was worth it.
What'd you roll?
A 29 out of...
You keep
Sorry,
that?
it's really gross. Yes, I do. It makes it under my normal skill. I'm actually relatively stealthy.
Okay. You begin
So, if-
bolting that direction, Randy. Bill Rash, what will you do?
I think I'm gonna run after him.
With the lantern in hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
Whee! You just want to run up there then? What's your movement?
5.
So you can move 15 yards.
Yeah.
So he's got a pretty good, he's got a longer stride than you, so he's almost to the bridge.
I think everyone has a longer stride. Right?
Yeah.
Ellen, what about yourself?
You're used to moving with your legs tucked
what do we do,
tight.
boss?
We just got the pigeon thing.
I don't know what's going on. Shoot someone?
I don't have a gun.
Hit someone.
And she will run towards the bridge.
Okay. What's your movement?
9.
Almost double. Right?
Murdoch, what are you going to do?
So do I have eyes on this dude with the cleaver?
You can't see anything. You're in the light.
All right.
The
I'll
only one who has seen anything at this point is Erlander, and you heard the shot fire, and Erlander is nowhere in sight. You saw the gunshot way up there, and you can't see anyone on the bridge, nor can you see the assailant with the cleaver.
I'll charge up the
Okay.
bridge. My speed's 7, so that'd move me 14 yards.
Okay. So remember, the bridge is 30 yards away.
All right. So that moves me out of the light. Do I see anything then?
Stop. You spend an action point to look. Oh! You see it! You can see two people kind of like taking duck and cover, like two shadows of people on the bridge ducking down as they're looking around. You still see the muzzle flash like smoldering on the end of Erlander's gun.
Okay.
You can see the flash of a blood-red cleaver of somebody on the other side who kind of staggers back for a moment, almost falling over their leg. You're not sure who it is. You can't see them. It's all bathed in shadow at this point.
What's the? Do I get an idea of what the range is now between myself and this dude with the cleaver?
Well, how far did you move? I'm sorry.
I move 14 yards.
14. 36 yards away.
Okay, cool. And then that would be all my action points.
Quinn.
Never been on a horse in combat before, so I might need a little helping hand.
It's okay.
Also remember it's in the title.
Yeah, it's connected to the cart.
Yeah, I'm not planning to race up there with the cart in tow, but I definitely want to approach the bridge.
Okay. So what you would do is you would choose any one of your movement actions, and you would add an additional action point. So basically, to ride, spend one action point, and then do what you're going to do.
Okay. I want it to be more calm movement.
So your
I'm worried about
movement,
the cart.
your movement on horseback.
Yeah.
What kind of horse is this?
I don't think we picked.
We'll assume it's a round C. It's 6 plus your bronze bonus. Is its movement.
Okay.
But you're moving on horseback.
It's
So it's pick what. So you just need to add.
my bronze 6 will be 12.
Yeah, you move 12 yards with a hustle. So if you ran
That's
up,
been my AP. If I hustled,
it'd be 2 AP at this point.
and then 1 for. Oh, no, that's right. Hustle.
You don't need to spend an additional one. You could, as an example, you could charge. You'd spend 1 action point just to ride, and then you'd spend you 12 and 12, so 24.
Okay. Maybe I'll do that just so I can get there.
Okay. So the cart goes out. Well, where are you going? You hear Amadeus say, "What the hell's going on? I'm just peeing." You see him coming up, like in the wake behind the fleeting shadows of your torch, as he's got a hold of his pants. It's clear he had been peeing in somewhere nearby, and you're coming toward the bridge. But it doesn't necessarily change things that's going on because we come to Jerry. Jerry, what do you do?
I'll just tell him, keep up.
He's gonna kind of just run forward. I mean, he doesn't know what's going on because he can't see obviously over the bridge and whatnot.
That's right.
But he knows that
At least our light should be closer to
yeah,
the bridge. now.
Erlander went up there and took a shot. He's not as fast as he was when he was younger. He only has a movement of 6, so he would run for 18.
Okay. All right. Who is the person with the light in hand?
I have the torch.
How far did you go?
24.
How far did you go?
15.
Okay. Okay.
I'll probably have my book.
You see moving on top of the bridge. Those are outside the light. You're not really sure what's going on at this point. The two lovers kind of part, like their fingertips touching. Erlander, what will you do?
Can you grab me a Coke as well?
Yeah. 0 or regular?
Regular.
I'll scream out to the couple.
I'll take this
The
opportunity.
bridge
to
isn't safe. Get home quick.
Take this opportunity to raid the fridge as well.
The two shapes kind of turn toward you, and one of them raises their hands and they say something
Well.
in a language you cannot understand. You're not familiar with the tongue at all, in fact.
Thanks.
You have 2 action points remaining.
I'm gonna shout in the only language I know, while also gesticulating wildly at them. You, off the bridge now.
Okay. As you do this, they turn about. And as they turn about, the shape that waited begins to slowly creep toward them. You can see the flash of the blood-red butcher's knife in hand. As it's approaching, you have 1 AP left.
Encourage them to come towards you.
They're backing away, holding their hands out. Their hands are no longer touching. They're on opposite sides of the bridge, one toward one side of the water, one toward the other side. The other figure is coming over the arch of the bridge closely, and you can't see who they are yet. It's still in shadow.
It's clearly not Amadeus.
No.
He was busy fishing.
What do we do?
I really hope that a poor club-footed, cleaver-wielding maniac doesn't know how a gun works. So I'm going to point it at the club-footed man again, and I'm going to shout at him, stay where you are, or I'll pull the trigger again.
Make a Litany of Hatred. Make an Intimidate test.
Oh,
This
hell
test
yeah.
will be challenging.
Oh, no. Intimidate. 36. Give me a shot.
You want a shot?
Yeah.
Good, sir.
Don't
There
forget
is
it's
no
a double.
God. There is
Yeah.
only Cuervo.
Oh yeah, for the fill up half. That's
Yeah.
like literally 2 shots in one.
Well, hey, he took 2. I'm taking 2.
It got me a success.
Yep.
Go all
Double
in.
the shot, double the luck, right?
Exactly.
Hey,
When
All
you
in for
call
the win.
upon Lady Luck, don't half-ass it.
full acid.
Always
That's
full
right.
ass.
Both cheeks.
Mhm.
20. 20. Okay, so that would be. Where is my
Challenging.
challenging? So that would be 36. Success.
All right.
There it is.
Okay, so
See?
the assailant with the butcher's
Relax.
knife suffers -1 peril condition track, -1 damage condition track, and they stop. And how much do they suffer peril too?
Yes, they do. 3.
Why do they suffer peril?
Because I have a menacing demeanor.
Oh, nice. It's 1d10 + 1.
Oh, neat.
So they suffer 4.
Yes.
As he yells this, you can hear him yell. He screams it because he's so far. The assailant's still so far away, and the shadow stops. This person stops in the middle of the bridge, and you see his head with this. You can see he's got a long. He's either wearing a mantle or has long hair. But regardless, he looks one direction toward one person, the man, and looks the other direction, and turns toward the woman. And then slowly strides toward the woman on the edge of the bridge.
Fuck.
Randy, what are you gonna do?
How far away is that guy? So I was within 2 of the bridge.
Yes.
How far away would that guy be now that he's moved forward?
If you charge, you will reach the end of the bridge. You'll be no more than 10 yards away.
So if I charge, I won't be quite up on him.
If you run and you spend an action point, an additional one, you can engage the shadow. Whoever this is, you'll be able to see who it is, you'll see what they're wielding. You can potentially stop this entire thing.
It doesn't sound like a smart idea, but it sounds like the right idea.
It's a legitimate idea.
Well,
Hey, if you
This
kill
is
him, you'll be King Hobo.
so I've, yeah.
It'll be your bridge now.
I'm a legitimate
You'll be-
king.
You'll
I'm
be the bridge
king.
troll.
I want to be the bridge king.
Now
So,
I'll have to pay the
just to
troll
double,
toll.
because I've never done footpad before, because I don't have to put in the extra to do the sneak,
Yep.
could I have that also be I'm sneaking up on him?
You would get a surprise turn.
That's what I'm hoping
That's
for.
right.
Fuck yeah.
So then, yes, I want to.
Alright. You can see him crawl out from behind the nearby pillars, and he's moving forward and comes toward the bridge. And there's no light here. The starlight, it's a new moon. You can't see anything save for a few scattered red stars in the sky at the feel of the blood moon. The new moon is not visible. The mirror normally would cast baleful light over everything. The mirror is gone. That's the moon. The stars twinkle. The blue burning eye, the night father's eye. You look toward it, and you come closer, and you come closer, and you have this person dead to rights. You have 3 action points. points. What will you do? You're
Fuck
engaged
him
with
up.
him.
Take
Oh, so I'm engaged with them? Oh,
Yes.
Oh, man.
Begin
Yes,
with the
it's-
tickling.
Whoever he has this. The only thing you see is the flash of the red cleaver in hand.
German subject.
Oh, man.
Give him the people's elbow.
Yeah.
Kick him off the
I
bridge.
mean, I feel like the thing that's going to give me the best result is whatever the first thing I should do. I should take advantage of my sneak attack ability. Because if I do something that alerts him to me, I'll lose that.
That's right.
But if I hit him while I'm still hidden, I'll get my sneak attack, which will give me more
That's right.
damage.
That's
so
right.
I will use my footpad ability to sneak attack.
What attack? What weapon do you use?
I didn't. I mean, I never said I
directions
can't
of
take
the
out a
band.
weapon for free, right?
That'll be one action
I
point.
never had a beer tell me it didn't burn 3 times.
Oh, it's a way that no. You draw your
I'll
weapon for
just
free. Go ahead.
stir it.
Yes.
Oh.
But that's
Well, in that case, in this situation, because I'm not quite sure yet that I want to kill this guy,
well,
I'm gonna be gentlemanly, and as
Yeah.
a good and proper
Some do.
gentleman,
they did
I'll-
discourage us from murder in the streets.
Right. So since I'm not gonna blatantly murder anybody, I will pull out a coil of metal wire with 2 crude grasp on it as I get out my
Could I help
garage.
him go to sleep?
I'm gonna get him down nappy time.
Make it trivial, simple melee test.
Awesome.
Put on his Jimmy Jams and go night
Yeah.
night.
So that's gonna be.
Gotta
So that gives me a 92% chance if it's trivial.
Frick yeah.
Gotta Sam Fisher him.
72. So I make it.
As you reach and grab a hold of them, roll a challenging, an arduous coordination test.
Okay.
Oh, balls.
And then I don't know when it comes into play, but I would initiate with the Guru thing after that comes in.
You sure will, except for something just happened.
Oh no. What?
Arduous coordination test. Your attack was trivial.
Okay.
Your coordination is
You
arduous.
thought you were putting the carrot on him, but you're secretly putting it on yourself.
Sorry, coordinate.
Oops.
Arduous. Oh god. Well, it could happen. Nope. And
You shift your body movement to grab him with the garrote, and you're reaching its shadows as you fall back on your ass. And you both... Who actually is outside the light at this point?
Not me.
I think
Depends
I'm
on how
between
far
the
he came
lights.
forward, I suppose. 'cause
24.
Yeah, so I'd say probably the 3 of you.
mm,
Or really, no, just the 3 of you at this point. Because they've got light. And... there's no sound of crickets. The water is lapping silently at the shore. The shapes are gone. You look toward the edge of the bridge where the woman was and the man. They're not there.
I should not have eaten those shrooms.
Lying at the foot of the bridge, however, this is bloody red cleaver. The 3 of you need to make a challenging resolve test to withstand fear. The Night Father's eye burns balefully overhead, burning blue and red.
26 for me. Okay. I got a 9. I succeed.
Nice.
You ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
No.
You say challenging?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, as you do this, Randy, 16 mental peril, 6 corruption, and you can feel the hackles on the back of your neck stand. And you all rush toward him to see what the commotion is. And he's the 3 of them are standing there bewildered, completely bewildered. You see the slug you fired literally sitting in the mud. But right at your feet, Murdoch, is this bloody cleaver.
Actually bloody?
Oh yes.
Or just red from the
How
reflection?
far am I
Okay.
from the
Blood.
water?
It seems to be covered in blood.
How far am I from the water?
You're on the bridge now.
I'm gonna use my rifle and the butt of it to try and flick this thing into the water.
You take it and slosh it out into the river, and you imagine that the cleaver probably fell to the bottom of the river floor where hundreds of keys that would attach these padlocks to the bridge would be. You can imagine in your mind's eye, like it clattering on the floor and the floor at the bottom of the river, amid the keys and the mud, the fish with the reeds.
As I start to reload my pistol, I'd like to check out those locks. Since I came all this way and shit all these pairs of underwear.
You all begin to kind of converge upon the bridge, and Amadeus is caught up by this point. And you can see there's hundreds of different locks, like hundreds and hundreds of locks that are marked with little initials, and they've been locked up on the bridge, and the key thrown into the water.
What'd you shoot at?
A nightmare.
I'm a little curious. If you can look and see if those tracks that went under the bridge are still there or not.
I mean, we just ran over everything, but I can try. As I'll go back to the and see what I can find.
Sure enough, the horse and the wagon ran over the tracks, but they are visible. They seem to go down this muddy embankment between these tall reeds and twist underneath the bridge. Do you want to follow?
You coming?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah, I got a torch.
I'm gonna hop over the bridge and with my lantern.
I might tie my horse off somewhere. So.
Okay.
So
your horse is whickering nervously.
I'm not afraid of any mud tracks.
So what happened?
Try and calm.
So
who's going down below the bridge first off? Okay. The three of you?
Yeah.
So three of you begin to descend slowly down this muddy embankment, down this silty thing, down toward the river as the four of you are up here still.
Still holding a lantern.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's these two weird looking people on the bridge, and there's this one funny looking dude in the shadow.
The Beggar King.
Yeah, with the bloody cleaver.
King of the bridge.
And Pete here had them dead to rights, and then it all just disappeared, except for the cleaver, which I knocked into the water.
I mean, I've choked people pretty hard before, but I've never choked them so hard they disappeared.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Was I close enough to hear the strange words that Yerlin heard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were talking. The two weird skinny people who were holding hands were talking real funny.
Two skinny people that were holding hands.
Yeah, you explained it. You were closer.
Ghosts.
Oh,
Us.
this is why I'm in charge here, because I don't get superstitious over silly things on a bridge.
Superstitious.
If there was ghosts, I'm a ghost slayer.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
We could charge more for that.
Fucking right. That's a
I'm
special
so sorry.
skill.
I didn't. I got caught back there with my pants down. You guys kind of left a little quicker than I thought you would. What's going on?
Perhaps you're a ghost duster.
Are there ghosts in this part of the city by any chance?
Ghosts?
Yes.
Well, this ain't no storybook. What do you mean, like ghosts?
Yes.
Are you pulling my Jimmy?
God, I hope not. You just went to the bathroom.
I don't know anything about no shades or no ghosts. No. What do you mean ghosts in this part of the city? Like, oh, here's a ghost, gotta kill it. Like that? Like
Yeah.
some sort of like Penny Dreadful?
Yes. Very much like a Penny Dreadful.
You
yes.
legitimate bastards are so funny.
Oh,
you
yes.
pulled my leg. You trying to fuck with me on tonight, aren't you?
Maybe he knows
It
about
was
the
a-
king of the bridge.
It was a great, it was a great one on me.
Y'all funny. You've been.
They got some
Maybe when the
projectors.
job's done, I can have a little bit of what you're having.
All we gotta do is find the projectors and take a mask off somebody. We'll get them out of this.
Is that bloody meat cleaver?
Well, the three of you are down below the
I'm
bridge,
just-
so let's keep this in mind. But we will move to the three of you.
Oh, boy.
Following
That's why my contribution
Gerald's
is meaningless.
movement.
And I'll be.
You both have light, which is good.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be taking my bundle out and then like strapping on the harness that is my like sword carriers, so that way like
Ready for danger.
like ready for action.
Ready to become the king of the bridge.
You slowly descend, and the embankment's muddy, and you get your legs and pants and boots a little wet, and you're actually kind of in a little bit of a low marsh, but you can see what looks like something washed up on shore. You can see this ribcage. but the rest of the body is gone. Just a rib cage at the foot of where the football stop in the
I
body.
wonder if that looks recently murdered.
Nothing we can do to help it, though.
Not likely. Other than just
There's no smell, there's no bugs, there's no crows. Just the sound of the crickets among the reeds and the
Is that where the
lopping
tracks
of
lead to?
yes,
Yeah,
there's the
this-
lopping of frogs in the water.
Cage.
That's
Oh,
where
look
they
around.
terminate in the mud right here at the rib cage, where the rib cage is.
Is there anything above us? Like,
As you look above, if you were to leap tall enough, you could reach the underside of the stone bridge. You can see wooden trellises here, as well as parts of the stone archway that have collapsed in the river here itself. You can, underneath the bridge, by the way, you can see some of the graffiti that's been unmolested by lamplighter cleaners. It seems to
not
portray.
been scrubbed yet.
Yeah, it seems to portray a woman sitting up on a throne, painted red, and there are all these men standing around her court with erections.
Sounds like their kind of people.
The Baroness of Venus.
Baroness of Boners.
Yes.
There it is.
Baroness of Bones? We'll just say that.
How dead is this dead-looking rib?
Well, it looks like this. I mean, this rib cage. It's literally a rib cage. It's
it's
just
like down to
bones.
the bones.
yeah, down to the bone. No flesh to be eaten off. It's been sun bleached. Do you imagine it would have washed up here during low, like if the water was low enough? But it's been raining, so maybe it washed down here.
So it's been dead for some time.
Well, it looks like as you're kind of looking toward the tracks, you realize at this point, Gerald, they actually wind back up the embankment. Like somebody came down here to see what this was and went back up. You're not the first to come here.
Perhaps not the last.
Yeah, I'll like point up the way.
I'm gonna kick the rib cage back into the water.
Okay. It kind of bobs and beneath the ripples of the dark water.
To join the keys and the bloody cleaver.
That's right. At this point, Quinn tosses the stub of his torch out into the water as it's extinguished. It's been an hour.
All right.
Up above, they join you once again. You must be pulling my leg, Erlander. You are a hilarious man.
Well, we definitely need to tell Amadeus next
Yeah.
time he feels like he's got to go pee somewhere. Let us know.
What? You just wanted... I was y'all yammering about something, and I said, hey, give me just a minute, and you wouldn't stop and look at me. So I just decided to go heed the call of Mother Nature, but you know, my morning constitutional comes at night sometimes, so
Get her
I was
attention
sitting
better
there,
next time.
and I was looked up, and then you're all gone, and I'm like, oh, stuff, shit,
Yeah.
and
Literally and figuratively.
I didn't have my... I mean, I hobbled up here with shit half, you know, it just walked off.
Get her attention better next time.
We're not far from the next lamp. Get that glum look off your face. It's fine.
How about we just finish up the
Carry on. Carry on.
The bloody meat cleaver ring any bells?
A what?
Tell us the story of Lovelock Bridge while we're here.
Oh, all right. So here you can see locks. And, oh my gosh, this one right here. This is the first lock I put on here many moons ago. I must have been 17 winters or so. Lorelei. Love of my life when I was a young one. We came here and, you know, as young lovers do. She was a bit upper class than I was, you know. Upper crust, as they say, a burger. Lowborn as I was. And we came in, we carved our name in the back of the lock and fastened it to Lovelock Bridge and threw the key in and kissed and made love beneath the light of the moons. And that was a good summer. But this other lock over here was this is Charlize and I. This is a long time ago. Well, about like a decade or so. And there's a couple other locks that I put. I mean, I'm not saying I've fallen in love a lot of times, but I've never married. I haven't found the right one yet. But I've got maybe probably 3 or 4 of these locks up here. You know, it's this used to be like a promenade of sort, where like people of the upper crust royalty of the Dunnish would come rolling through with their big fancy carriages. Oh, many, many moons ago, but you know how the things go. The bastard king, when things went ill about 10 years ago, he diverted the river right through Durendal here. Waters rose, washed out a bunch of shit. Did it on purpose, he did, and people who lived here got washed away, abandoned it, moved up on the hill near the Baroness's palace, left this all to dust. And now we just, young lovers come here and the sweeties, and they profess they love and write and scrawl the little initials on the back of the lock that toss the key. And it's kind of a cute sentiment, I must say. A real hallmark of a moment, one may say. You ever been in love before?
No.
You look astonished, my friend.
Oh, I've been in love every day of my life. I'm just, it's not every day you strangle a ghost, so I'm just coming to terms with it.
Oh, all right. A ghost, huh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can get back to business, because we do have some things to do out this way. Is that okay with y'all?
Clock is ticking.
I'll look on the ground. Is there any blood on the ground?
No. Just wetness, dampness from the rain the night before.
Was there any blood where the cleaver was?
No.
Was
there any blood on the butt of his rifle where he flicked it away?
No.
That was quick.
You sure there was blood?
It looked awfully red. Maybe
not-
the lights were playing tricks on my eyes.
Maybe it got jammed.
I'm not a religious man,
Yeah.
but I'm saying this is the sort of thing that would drive a man astray. So maybe this is a sign from the gods saying you're about to get a bunch of money tonight. You need to spend all that money on booze.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have the biggest fucking bender ever tomorrow.
I agree with that.
Did you?
I have a set of lock picks on my person.
To liberate some locks.
No.
Yeah.
I know these couple of cads. I'm sure one of them has a set of lock picks on them.
I mean, maybe.
No.
Well,
And everyone's like, maybe.
Well, in that case, in honor of the person who quite clearly didn't have a key of his own to throw into this river, I'm going to throw my lock picks in.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Then I'll head on with the rest of the party.
Gerald's going to ponder about the structural integrity of the bridge with all the extra locks on it.
A good strong wind will knock this whole fucking thing over.